How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
He was taken too soon. I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings.
सी गॉड ऑफ 40R के रिडेम्पशन आर्क की हो चुकी है शुरुआत. Medal Esports are preparing to take the Season 4 medal home. Feels like Destro's magnet has finally started pulling off. क्या ओमेगा की टीम का दिख सकता है मेगा कमबैक? Watch BGMS Season 4 live on Jio Hotstar, Star Sports and Nodwin Gaming's YouTube channel daily 5 p.m. onwards.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Week 3, Day 4 of the BGMS Season 4. And just after a few days, League Stage will be done and we'll move on towards the playoffs. But before that, we need to discuss on what exactly happened yesterday. And specifically speaking of yesterday's day, it was all about Los Hermanos with how they were able to pull off those great comebacks. And now MyG Los Hermanos is in quite a decent spot in the overall standings.
Of course, in the very first game, they were able to get a chicken dinner. In the second game of Miramar also, they came on the second spot. Then in the third game, once again, getting a big victory. So yes, it was a really consistent day for the players of MyG Los Hermanos. But the main question is, can they keep up the same consistency today as well? Or will they start fizzling out? Because they are yet not in the top 4.
And speaking about the consistency, it was also a good day for the players of Seoul, right? Yes. They were there constantly in the final few moments of the game. Even in the final game, Seoul had all the 4 players alive. Unfortunately for them, NoNx had an advanced positioning, and that's why NoNx was the one to come out on top. And speaking of NoNx, man, this team, it feels like now they're really reaching the sky highs.
Yeah, NoNx has been super consistent, especially Anonymous and Viper. These two lads have been doing so much great, especially Viper with those utilities, the grenades, the connection is always on point. Yeah. This guy is actually giving a tough competition to hunt us in terms of the util usages.
And speaking of Revenant, X, Park, and OG, these teams now feels like they're quite comfortable in the top 4. They're just aiming for the average points. They do not really want to bring in those flashy plays, which makes a lot of sense. And since we're speaking about what exactly happened yesterday, I mean, the day 3 started off with some regular expectations. We thought maybe once again the teams in the top 4 will start to dominate, but one thing is for sure, none of us expected that it will be MyG Los Hermanos to kick things off with an absolute banger.
Yeah, of course, in the very first game, we saw the players of Reckoning Esports Vlog doing a 1v4 against the players of Mad Kings, and Metal also went on to eliminate players of Global Esports. But it was the Los Hermanos 2v4 against the players of K9 Esports. K9, they had the numbers advantage towards the end, But Medal, they also tried to do something. But yesterday was not really good day for the players of Medal Esports. But this was the moment. A 2v4 situation, K9 had the numbers advantage, but everything just went in the favor of MyG.
It was the day for MyG Los Hermanos, but it was also a day for massive mess-ups. We saw K9 Esports messing up against MyG Los Hermanos, and in this instance, we also did see another mess-up from the side of Medal Esports, as Termi was the one to get eliminated. Then later on, we moved on towards 4TR, and even 4TR was the one to come out on top in that duel towards Picado. In the final few moments, FS Esports somehow were able to close things off in that fight. MyG Los Hermanos were supposed to be the one to come out on top in that one, though.
But in the map of Sanhok also, we did witness few drop clashes happening. Reckoning Esports also going up against the players of TDR, TWOB also bringing present there. But Metal, they also tried to do a lot of damage to the side of Orangutan. OG, they also were maintaining the southern control. But once again, it was a MyG domination. But along with that, it was actually a good game for the players of TWOB as well.
I'm not exactly sure how MyG Los Hermanos was able to pull off some back-to-back crystal clear gameplays. First game, Chicken Dinner. The second game, they got a second spot. Third game, a Chicken Dinner once again. And MyG Los Hermanos, they looked like they were on an absolute tear. God's Reign got eliminated off the rip in that game. The bounty was also claimed by the foes, which was quite a great thing for them. And later on in the final few moments, True Rippers, we clearly saw them. Of course, even they looked like they were on an absolute tear. But in the final few moments, NoNx, they surrounded the entirety of Seoul, and they did not even stand a single chance. NoNx, with the advanced positioning, got the final Chicken Dinner. And after yesterday's day, let's have a look at the overall standings. Once again, the top four is pretty much the same. Seoul has maintained that fourth spot. On the fifth, you've got Genesis Esports. On the sixth, Hero Extreme Godlike. Once again, Middle Esports on the 7th, and NoNx now finally breaching in that top 8.
Yeah, 379 points to the players of NoNx Esports, but really hope that the players of Metal Esports won't fumble just like I did. They are sitting on the 7th spot and they have to climb in the leaderboard. iQOO 8-bit, they are also facing a downfall in the performance, sitting on the 9th spot with 374 points. Global Esports also on the 10th, but look at the position where Marcos Gaming is. Marcos was super consistent in the previous week, but suddenly it looks like despite having 6 chicken dinners, they are on the 2nd page of the leaderboard.
The last page pops upon the screen, and still a few concerning names do continue on this part as well. Yesterday, even TWOB was doing much better than what they were before this, but now doing better is not enough. They need to be outstanding in order to make a comeback possible. And as we all know, if you're not going to make a comeback, then you will be heading on towards the playoffs, and from the playoffs, I highly doubt a lot of these teams will be able to make a comeback anyways.
Yeah, you can't leave things for the 11th hour. You can't really rely on just a single day of playoffs that you can make it to the grand finals. That is going to be really difficult because pressure will be mounting on your shoulders. So many teams will be there. And there is also the factor that so many teams can go for the change in drop location, change in the play style. So you can't really rely on the playoffs.
And speaking about the play style itself, yesterday NoNx's play style and MyG Los Hermanos' play style was completely outstanding. Mind-blowing. Especially from NoNx in the final few moments, taking that space, eliminating the players of Revenant X Park. Having that surrounding awareness was great, and I'm pretty sure the IGL's doing a fantastic job in that.
Yeah, the IGL has been doing super great because if you notice in the final fight which NoNx had against the players of iQOO Seoul, NoNx decided to take the real estate control. The entire circle control was with the players of NoNx Esports, and iQOO Seoul, they were pretty much pinned down in that one little compound and cornered.
And I don't remember even a single game, especially after the week 2, where NoNx has fumbled, because NoNx has been extremely comfortable and extremely consistent in every single game after the week 2 they've played, which is quite a great thing, and that's why now we're seeing NoNx in the top 8 as well. There's a big chance NoNx can topple over every single team and directly move on towards the top 4 if we do not see some massive hustles in the top 4 itself today. But as we've got the comparison of NoNx from League Stage Week 1 to Week 2, now you guys can clearly see there's a big difference in that performance, and this is what I'm talking about.
And you also witnessed the big brain move coming in from the side of Viper yesterday, especially the fight which happened against the players of GDR. Viper was the guy who was able to deal with 2 players of GDR, and that was such a fantastic play coming in. But yesterday we also did witness that RNTX, they also were not looking that good in their 4v4 fights.
Yeah, and especially for Revenant X Park, dealing with the players of FS Esports, if I'm not wrong, they took a bit too long to deal with them. That shouldn't have been the case. There were only 2 players, and Revenant X Park had all the 4 players alive, if I'm not wrong. And Revenant X Park, if they would have made that push, if they would have made that pounce early on, get the elimination points confirmed, they would have also had better loot, they would have had better standing as well.
Yeah, Yeah, highly possible because Anonymous along with Viper and Kalyog, they had the entire realistic control, they had the numbers advantage, but the moment Anonymous was able to shut down Legit and after that Joker, it was only Goblin remaining. A single util could have marked an end for the players of iQOO Soul.
Yeah.
And that is what happens when you don't take the control of the circle.
As I mentioned, NoNx, the only reason why they actually want that, it's because of the advanced positioning, right?
Yeah.
And NoNx, with the way they're able to play these games, it feels like the team synergy, the coordination's on point. But another team that is now starting to struggle, that's also 8-Bit. And you know what, speaking of 8-Bit, let's move on to the stage and have a talk with Somraj, and let's see what he's got to say.
The man who's won a lot, वो मेरे साथ स्टेज पे 8-Bit के सोमराज 374 पॉइंट्स, लेकिन आज इस कहानी में आया है एक नया ट्विस्ट बिकॉज आप एक 3-man लाइनअप के साथ खेल रहे हैं. Does that affect things going forward?
Definitely it affects us, but at the same time players need rest because of their mental health. They are completely exhausted, so अभी ठीक है, रेस्ट लेना बनता है और अभी आगे भी इवेंट बाकी है, तो ठीक है हम लोग 3-man जितना ट्राई हार्ड करके पॉइंट्स निकाल सकते हैं. दैट वुड बी ग्रेट.
इंटरेस्टिंग, क्योंकि बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स से भी बात की है, कुछ कोचेस से भी बात की है. सो यू गॉट 2 sets, राइट? यू गॉट द टॉप 4 जो सीधा ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई करेंगे, एंड देन पोजीशंस 5 to 12. जो टॉप 4 में क्वालिफाई कर रही हैं, दे गेट दैट ब्रेक दैट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. वो बैठेंगे अपने होटल रूम में, दे विल प्रैक्टिस, दे विल स्ट्रीम, बट यू गोइंग टू ऑल्सो बी अवे फ्रॉम कंपेटिटिव गेमिंग फॉर दोज डेज. What would you prefer?
Deep inside everybody wants to qualify in that top 4 spot, क्योंकि अभी 3 हफ्ते से खेलते आ रहे, तो डेफिनेटली इतना सारे मैचेस का एफर्ट्स वो टॉप 4 आने के लिए ही है. बट ठीक है, मतलब आई बिलीव कि जो अपना बेस्ट दे रहा है वो टॉप 4 में है, और बाकी जो सेमीफाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई हो रहे हैं उनको भी 2 दिन का ब्रेक मिल रहा है. एक दिन गैप है प्लेऑफ्स का और एक और दिन शायद से, पता नहीं मुझे एग्जैक्टली. सो ठीक है, हम लोग भी ऐसे ट्राई करेंगे एंड तक कि काश टॉप 4 आ जाए. अगर नहीं आए तो फिर विल लुक फॉरवर्ड फॉर सेमीफाइनल्स और प्लेऑफ्स.
तुम लोगों को अभी हाल ही में ऑफिसर कार्की ने पकड़ा था. चार्ज शीट बाय द वे आप देख सकते हैं नॉटविन गेमिंग के यूट्यूब चैनल पे. 2 एपिसोड्स आर आउट, उनमें से एक में सोमराज भी है. यू वन एवरीथिंग ब्रो. सिर्फ एक ताज जो है वो भी नहीं आया है आपके पास, और वो है BGMS का ताज.
हाँ जी, ये मैं बहुत पहले सीजन से खेलते आ रहा हूँ. फर्स्ट सीजन में आई वाज 5th, थर्ड सीजन में आई वाज 2nd, एंड दिस इज द ये जो भी सीजन है सीजन 4. सो उसमें मैं चाहूंगा कि वो आए मेरे पास वो ट्रॉफी और एक अचीवमेंट अनलॉक हो, एंड yeah, I'll give it a try.
All right, quick one. No Aquanos, no S power. Does that affect things?
Definitely.
Change in the tactics, I mean.
Yeah, मैं उनको अपनी टीम का एज अ पिलर्स देखता हूँ. एक लेफ्ट पिलर संभाल रहा है और एक राइट पिलर, क्योंकि मतलब आई बिलीव इन देम, और वो जब सिचुएशन आता है तब वो संभालते भी है. पर वही है, जब उनका गेम मतलब थोड़ा इफेक्ट हो रहा होता है, नहीं चल रहा होता है, तो स्टेप अप सबको करना होता है.
आज पिलर नहीं है लेकिन फाउंडेशन बरकरार है. ऑलवेज गुड टू टॉक टू सोमराज ऑफ 8-Bit. 374 पॉइंट्स, आज ऊपर बढ़ना चाहेंगे. Going to that top 4. All games today, all matches on the OnePlus 13. We take a break and match 1 is coming up.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
All right, class. For today's lesson...
I already taught her something.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
The first game will be booting up on the screen within a few moments, and now we've got teams like God's Ray and NoNx once again in the playing field. NINZA, Marcos Gaming, OG, Soul, REVENANT, X-Park, and TWOB in one group, and in the opposite one, we've got Phoenix Esports, Genesis, Mad Kings as well a part of it.
Well, certainly we have got the groups B and C playing on the map of Erangel and Miramar, and Group C, since they have got all the 4 matches, so definitely it is going to be a really important day for the players of Group C. 4TR, Phoenix Esports, Genesis, Mad Kings, K9, 8-Bit, Hero Extreme, Godlike, and Global Esports as well. So let's see how this is going to turn out for the players of Group C.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point in time, once again, there are a lot of names that are struggling. And speaking of Genesis Esports as well, I do understand they are still around that top 4. But for some reason from Genesis Esports, we're also seeing those struggles. We really do want to see them move on towards the top 4, get a good performance rolling out. But something that's going to help you with good performance is also the OnePlus CE5 with 120 FPS gaming and also man's monster battery. This is one of those devices that will help you with your gaming performance, and it will amp it up, of course. And as we were talking about the playing teams itself, Group B and C will be the one to be a part of it. Phoenix Esports, it's another one of those teams that we really would want to see a good performance from.
Yeah, Goten and the boys, they have been struggling quite a lot recently. Not just recently, from the very start of the tournament. It's high time they start pulling up their socks, because if they really want to qualify for the semi-finals or the grand finals, they need those points. But on the other side, we also have got the players of Global Esports. If you remember previous week, Global Esports was looking so strong, especially Spray God, Viron, Troy. These guys were actually putting numbers on the table. But since last few days, even the aggression has gone down from the side of Global Esports.
True that. And luckily enough today, Hero Extreme Godlike is going to play with all the 4 players, if I'm not wrong. So that's a good thing as well. After a long time, Hero Extreme Godlike, the first game is going to be played with all the 4 players. So let's see. Maybe the first game itself can start things off with an absolute bang. And you guys clearly heard in the interview as well. 8-Bit's not going to be playing with all the 4 players. They're just going to be playing with 3 players. Giving breaks to the players because they're mentally exhausted. That's what Samraj mentioned, and he clearly mentioned as well the players definitely do need the rest, so he's going to give it to them before they actually head on towards the semifinals or the playoffs itself. And since the plane is now in the sky, starting all the way from Sanhok, a military base towards the opposite side, which is Stalber, this plane flight path, it's quite good and quite forgiving.
Yeah, decent flight path is going all the way from the side of military base towards the side of Yasnaya and Stalber. So if you love dropping in towards the side of Zarki, as we have seen the players of TWOB, but since there is a high possibility that TWOB can actually go for a secondary drop as well. But if they're actually going all the way towards Zarki, it's going to be a long journey. For now, Marcos Gaming, even Marcos is also one of those teams. If you notice yesterday, they were actually fizzling out in those 4v4 fights, especially against REVENANT X-Park in the map of Sanhok and in the map of Erangel as well.
I mean, Phoenix Esports towards Fairappear, it is one of those drop locations that has been with Phoenix Esports since the start. And as we all know, Phoenix Esports has also been getting clashed on recently on towards that drop location. We've also seen Victoria Sumus, who would want to take a part of that. We've also seen a few more teams instantly coming in with the third party as well. And Marcus Gaming too has been a part of it. Sometimes even NINZA have been a part of it. But recently NINZA, they found a completely different drop location for themselves. They don't drop towards Crore anymore. Instead, they go towards the right side, which is quite interesting if you think about it.
Interesting circle as well. We have a completely northern circle, so that means teams who love going in all the way to the side of Siverni, just like the players of K9 or TWOB towards Zarki, can actually benefit heavily. Even the players of Mad Kings, they also love going all the way towards the northern side of the map. I think they can take advantage of the circle, but God's Rain all the way towards south, towards military base. Let's see what the approach is going to be. But I have this belief that no matter what the circle is, Destro always knows a way to be in the center of the circle. Not in the center, at least on the periphery of the circle.
Oh, but Revenant Spark, a team with a bounty on top of their heads, now hunting down NoNx. And it is one of those fights that you never know who will be the one to come out on top. And Kalyuk, what? With just a pistol, he shuts down Trace God. Oh, it's been a while since you've seen a man like Trace God get bested. And that too by just a pistol. Kalyuk, this man's making statements. NoNx, they're definitely in red-hot form. And taking a man down like Trace God, who's been doing extremely well in the BGMS Season 4, it's not easy.
Of course, it's not going to be easy. NoNx, Kalyuk getting that one extra point for the team. Not just one, 2 extra points, because we also have got the power play in the stage 1 circle. But let's see if they can actually get few more extra points, because NoNx is one of those teams which has recently been actually amping up their aggression. They are taking advantage of power play, and not just power play. This is one of those teams which is known for the good rotations as well. The survival game is also pretty strong. But for now, 8-bit, they need to focus on their survival game, because everyone in the lobby knows that 8-bit is playing as a 3-man squad, and maybe there is a high chance that someone would want to take advantage of that.
But honestly, who would have thought Trace God would get bested like that?
Yeah.
That too with just a pistol. Speaking about being in a red-hot form, even Trace God's been doing extremely good for Revenant Spark. Majority of the frags and majority of the points are contributed by that man. And now since RNTX have lost out on Trace God, this game is already tough for them. They've lost out on their main card. The ace is not there in the sleeves anymore.
That means the remaining players, Fury, Fears, they need to step up. Even Sensei also needs to step up. But Revenant Spark, they have been doing decent in the overall ranking. But we also have got a situation in the Northern Georgia pool where we have got the players of Mad Kings and 4TR, where InfGod has been knocked out. InfGod is also one of those players which is known for those 1v2 clutch moments. But Morty was trying to reposition, jump out of that building. And the moment he took that jump, he was instantly knocked out. The confirmation point has also been secured.
Morty down. But he's not out yet. The man's still knocked out. And Mad Kings, they're here to claim all those elimination points. They will go and put that nail in the coffin. 4TR Morty eliminated from the game, and Mad Kings, now they will be having those evil smirks. 2 finish points off the rip in the power play. That's 4 points right there in Mad Kings. If they do manage to wipe out the entirety of 4TR without taking any sort of damage, then it would be really good. But let's have a look at the replay on how Khalid was able to shut down Trace God. Look at these shots. Disgusting. I mean, Trace God, he's the one who's supposed to be the Trace God, but this time, the man from NoNx, he traced him to death directly in his grave and dug him 6 feet under.
And like I was mentioning, that Revenant Spark, if you notice, recently their 4v4 fights have not been looking that convincing, and now since Trace God is the first one to be eliminated from the lobby, this is definitely going to hurt the players of RNTX. Yes, the silver lining is they are the table toppers, but Mad Kings, these 2 finishes, so that means 4 extra points at the very start of the game. Mad Kings desperately need those points, because now they're sitting on the 18th spot, and Mad Kings was one of those teams which at the start of the tournament, everyone had high expectations. A recently formed lineup, all the players were in the past part of the same organization, Lala, so much experience. But feels like they are crumbling under the expectations of the fans and supporters.
Yeah, probably. Not exactly sure why the performance is lacking, but we have seen Mad King go for quite some of the rash decisions, and that's also one of the main reasons why Mad Kings do end up choking those fights. But off the get-go, if you think about it, this game has been pretty passive. And I guess the majority of the contribution for that also has to be the planned fly path, right? It was so good. Just directly dividing the map into 2 equal halves. The planned fly path was extremely forgiving. Teams easily traveled towards their designated drop spots, got their hands on the loot, and now probably playing towards that centric area. Phoenix Esports is also going to be on the move, and Phoenix Esports is already quite proactive. I like this maneuver from Phoenix Esports. Already playing around that centric vicinity. But you never know. There will be a lot of teams soon stacking up around them. And Phoenix Esports, they will need to be a little bit more careful. If you look at the surrounding lines for Phoenix Esports, yeah, as of now they seem a little bit peaceful. But we all know, soon there's going to be a lot of teams collapsing around that vicinity.
Global Esports on the move, trying to go all the way towards the northern island. Maybe they're anticipating a northern shift of the circle, but they need to be a bit cautious because even the players of K9 and 8-bit are also going for the northern control around shooting range. But towards the southern side, we have few teams going for the late rotation, just like the players of RNTX. Wait a second. It looks like Global Esports is actually chasing the players of K9, and finally a rotation clash also happening out in the open. Manya has been knocked out. What's happening? Manya had the advantage.
Yeah, but as long as Manya is not getting confirmed, it's all good in the hood, right? K9 Esports, yes, they did find the knock, but not the confirmation yet, and that's a good thing. Troy, he gets Manya on his back, and instantly puts him in the vehicle. But no, he messed up. Oh, he's burning through too much time, and 8-bit have already closed up. Troy, what are these rookie mistakes? You were supposed to put Manya in the vehicle, but Troy messed up. And now because of that, 8-bit is already pushed up, going for that third party. 8-bit wants to claim these elimination points. Beast and Troy, they lock horns, but the utilities, they started raining down. As 8-bit, unfortunately, it's his own teammate that finds the knock. A bit of that team nade. That might just spoil the dreams for 8-bit, and even NINZA, now they partake inside of the chaos. Global Esports, they're in shambles, but even 8-bit, they might be rubbed out from this game.
Manya has already been confirmed. NINZA Dragon getting that one finish. So that means 2 extra points. NINZA is also one of those teams, especially Dragon, if you notice. They are the one who always love going for those extra power play points. And this time Dragon once again stepping up. But it was just a rotational fight which happened, and NINZA took advantage of it. But the next circle shift is also going to be pretty important because Godstrain, R and TX, they are still in the blue. And look at the circle shift. We have a complete eastern shift.
Oh my god.
NoNx, R and TX, Genesis in such a good spot. But look at the cluster towards the northern side. Everyone moved in, hoping for a northern shift. And this actually can be a southern circle towards school.
That is the cluster of death. There's so many teams around that similar vicinity. You've probably got around 7 to 8 teams just in that side. At the moment they start to take a move, we know there will be a lot of those rotation clashes happening. And NINZA, they've already spotted the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. Dragon OP, the man's on the chase. He's on the prowl. He's already snuffed the blood trail, and now he wants to punish the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. They stop, they go for the shots against Reaper, and Reaper might just be ripped apart. Needs to be more careful. The man still drives back to safety. Hero Extreme Godlike, I'm not a big fan of this pit stop. They need to keep on moving. But Ermino, with this off angle, he can definitely punish a few more players of NINZA. There is Beard Baba right in front, still driving out in the open, and Ermino is not going for the shots just yet. And NINZA, but they might just mess up big. But Poco, he realizes where he's getting shot at from. But Poco, the man's extremely softened up, and he needs to find some cover, but he won't be able to do so. It's Phoenix Esports who find that knock onto Poco, but the elimination point will be converted by Ermino.
Jonathan with a vehicle run over, getting that elimination point. Hero Extreme Godlike, a good head start. And in fact, their backlines are pretty much clear, so they can maintain the entire northern control. But they need to be careful of those third parties, and also from the side of 4TR, because even the players of 4TR are going for a northern rotation. But the circle shift, this is actually going to play with the minds of the IGL, because you never know where the circle is going to go. It can go all the way towards the northern island, or it can go all the way towards south, towards the school apartments where we have the players of R and TX. But for now, Hero Extreme Godlike, they would love to take the control of Severny and go for the secondary loot as well. But iQOO Soul, let's talk about iQOO Soul. The rotations have been pretty decent.
Indeed.
But towards the end, when the final few teams remain, that is where Team iQOO Soul do lack in those 4v4 fights.
True that.
And that's the reason they are missing out on the chicken dinners.
True. I mean, for Soul, once again, if you really speak about yesterday's day, Soul was quite consistent, right? And as long as Soul's getting those average points, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's what I personally believe. If Soul is able to get even around 7 to 8 points per game, that is still fine. You're constantly getting those points, and that's going to help you pin down that spot in the top 4. And looking at the overall standings as well, I highly doubt Soul's going to be kicked outside of the top 12 anyways. Bare minimum, Soul will be in the top 12 no matter what. So I still believe it's all good in the hood. Hero Extreme Godlike, spotting out the players of K9 Esports. That red dot, it definitely does rip through the man of K9. But that rip is not enough to get the knock. A few more shots taken in. What was that? It's actually Ermino who finds that knock. Hero Extreme Godlike, they probably do want to send it against the players of K9 Esports, since Hero Extreme Godlike now knows they're extremely hurt. Outside of the compound wall as well, Punk moves up, but he messed up big! And that's going to be a knock in the confirmation for K9. Hero Extreme Godlike messed up big, but for K9 Esports, they do not have enough men to keep themselves alive in the game. And Jonathan, he bests the man of K9, as K9 Esports will be eliminated.
K9, they were so close to being in the top 12, but this early exit is definitely going to hurt Omega and the boys. But Hero Extreme Godlike, yes, that was a hasty move from the side of Punk to directly barge into the compound. And he was instantly knocked out and finished off. But now, Hero Extreme Godlike as a 3-man army with 3 finishes. But for now, we also have the players of OG and Phoenix Esports in sort of a situation where Vizgod is having an off-angle. Initial knock comes onto AKOP. Instant confirmation from the side of Goten, but a trade also comes in towards Goten. Archet goes for the confirmation point. But OG, what is the split?
Good question.
Where is the defense?
Oh, Goten getting knocked out. It's not a good news for the players of Phoenix Esports. And you can clearly see the panic setting in to the players as well. But Phoenix, luckily enough for them, the teams around them, no one's got the intentions of actually pressuring on even more. So Phoenix Esports can easily go for that revival. It's not a concern. Unless Vizgod has got some different shenanigans popping up in his mind. But at this point in time, Vizgod should not be the one to go ahead and chew on the prey in the front, since he does not even have his teammates with him. He's the only man surviving for OG. NoNx, look at the players underneath the bridge. Vizgod, he's walked into a death trap. He has no clue that the players of NoNx are right underneath the bridge. It's actually NINZA, my bad. Oh man, NINZA camping right underneath the bridge. This might just be a massive surprise for Vizgod. And oh boy, the moment the man popped up, he met with the Grim Reaper himself. Unfortunate.
An early exit for the players of Orangutan, but the good thing is they defended the bounty points. The bounty points were not given away, but NINZA, the bridge which they are trying to hold on to, I think they can actually reap benefits out of it. Because if the circle goes either ways, towards the northern or towards the southern side, they can accumulate the finish points which they need at this point. But you know, we have got something for the audience as well. You guys can actually watch the POV of your favorite teams like RNTX, Hero Extreme Godlike, Genesis and Medal, but only on Geo Hotstar, because Geo Hotstar has got the multi-cam feature and also the map feed as well. But speaking of the other teams, Genesis still all the way towards the side of Rozak, but the circle takes a Western ship, and oh my goodness, it's still a hybrid circle, Necro.
But look at how lucky Phoenix Esports is, somehow still having a share of that zone. But I'm going to hold on to that thought as Hero Extreme Godlike, they found themselves in a massive pickle and they still somehow rip through the opponents. How is this even possible? Albino for a moment actually got jump scared, but Soul, it's not a good fight for them. They're getting ripped to shreds. This fight, Soul is losing inch by inch, and in the end, they will be devoured by the Godlike themselves. A rough fight for Soul that was not converted, but for Hero Extreme Godlike, this will be a confidence uplifter.
100%, 7 finishes accumulated, and Hero Extreme Godlike, even if this team doesn't have the numbers advantage, even if they are playing as a 3-man army, they know how to get the finish points on the board, but can they really defend their compounds against the players of Global Esports? Because Prey God, with those utils, is actually trying to barge into the compounds of Hero Extreme Godlike. Or maybe not. He's taking a rain check because he's prioritizing the rotation, and maybe he can try to gatekeep the players of Hero Extreme Godlike.
True that, but for now, with how Global Esports is moving, they're soon going to collide with the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. And I'm pretty sure Global Esports, they've got a bit of that inkling as well, that there is someone right in front. There's a lot of smokes tossed out, so of course there has to be someone in that compound. Revenant X Park as well, they're probably going to be that potential threat that Global Esports will need to eliminate. And Spray God, the man splitting himself out, letting know the opponents that he is also a part of this vicinity. And Spray God, he ejects outside of the vehicle, but that was a big mistake, as Fury had a better weapon in his hands, and he strikes down Spray God. The S12K supreme in those ranges, but now Marcus Gaming, even they're under heavy fire from the side of Genesis Esports, but this time it's Genesis who is falling apart. 3 players already down and out, and Gravity is now going to be the last man standing. Only Isaac Newton can save Gravity now, because I don't see anyone else supporting the man at this point. Even his teammate has been eliminated from the game. And Genesis Esports, they somehow do survive. But at least as of now, if Gravity is able to get the revival on towards the fallen player, which is Yash, then maybe he can survive.
Only Gravity remaining. Yash still begging for the revival, for the rescue mission. Let's see if we can actually go for the revival, because even the plus of Marcos Gaming, they were going for the reset as Gyrogod has been brought back into the game. But Superman is there to save the day as a single grenade can mark an end for the plus of Genesis. But Superman, he gave enough time to the plus of Genesis to go for the reset. Why is the delay? But finally the man decides to lob the grenade. Can he find the connection? Seems like a no. But on the other side, God's Train comes with the third party. Neo gets Gyrogod, and Superman is the only man remaining. But finally, he gets the connection onto Yash.
Yeah,
got enough time to go for the rescue mission.
The Superman's kryptonite still hasn't been discovered. But Gravity, as long as it's there, maybe Superman will not be able to fly. His wings will be clipped the moment Superman gets too confident. And at this point, Superman is just tossing out a lot of smokes because he wants to cross on towards the players of Genesis Esports and make this battle up close and personal, which makes a lot of sense too.
Just look at the circle shift. Once again, a centric shift. Both the islands are still in the contestation necro. Just imagine if this final circle goes all the way towards north, where we have the players of RNTX and Phoenix Esports. Because the remaining teams, all the 8 teams, are towards the side of Rozuk. But coming back to the fight, Genesis up against the players of Marcos Gaming. Even God's Train is trying to do a third party. 3 grenades in the hands of Gravity are enough to deal with the remaining players of Marcos Gaming. But the main question is, can he actually land those grenades perfectly?
Superman and Gyrogod next to each other. Quite in tandem as well. And specifically for Marcos Gaming and Genesis Esports, this fight should have been wrapped up miles before. Why are they still sharing the same compound? Marcos Gaming should have pushed up the moment they had the advantage. Or either Genesis Esports should have pushed up the moment they had the advantage. But none of them did so. And now that's why they will need to deal with each other for a few more moments. Which is not a good news. You never know. The threat can get bigger as the time keeps on passing by. And Mad King's at this moment still getting the lay of the land, knowing what exactly is happening in the surrounding line. Shadow is in the outskirts, trying to attract a few bullets upon himself so he can know where exactly the player's position. If you think about it, Mad King's position is actually good. They're holding the open lines, and there's a big chance the zone can actually shift out in the open as well.
Highly possible. But for now, the circle is a bit of a problem for all the teams. But Fury out in the open. And Phoenix Esports Archit with the vehicle is trying to get the confirmation point onto him. And finally, Jathan with that M416 will mark an in for the players of RNTX. Once again, a bad performance coming in. Yes, you guys are the table toppers. But there is a major dip in the performance of RNTX. An early exit on the 10th spot with only, what, 2 points or 4 points?
Yeah.
But Heroic Team Godlike, they're still alive. And they have got the entire southern control of the circle. Not the entire, but on the periphery of the circle. But Yash with a grenade finally gets a connection onto Superman. And Gyrogod is the only man remaining. A 1v2 situation for him, but finally gets a knock onto Yash. A 1v1 S12K versus the grenade and Gravity. He can actually shut him down, and he will actually do so. There is no time to save the teammate, but 3 finishes and Gravity is still surviving. Marcos, they have been eliminated on the 9th spot now.
Even Hero Extreme Godlike was a part of that fray, as they were the one to actually find one of the elimination points from Genesis Esports. Just tickling away in the far fray. Mad Kings, now with the open terrain in their control, and since they know there's no one really on the back, Mad Kings now actually look like kings, and they can live a luxurious life. And since they've also cleared out the entirety of the compound in the front, they can actually spread their wings, even if the zone does shift inside of the urban territory. This is brilliant from Mad Kings. Things can be so much more better, but I told you, the zone's going to shift in the open. And that's where Mad Kings will now have a massive advantage, and Mad Kings should go for a 2-2 split. That's what I personally think, and that's the only thing that's going to save the players of Mad Kings.
Don't forget, even the players of Godsend are also in the close proximity. They've got 3 men alive. Yes, this can actually be a good game for the players of Mad Kings, but Meta and NINZA, these guys are still holding onto the bridge. And finally gets a confirmation point onto Jahan as well. Phoenix Esports, even they were looking pretty decent. But now, the journey, the rotation inside the circle is going to be a bit challenging, as Goten is only the only man surviving, as Yash has been knocked out. And he's so far away from his teammate Goten.
Meta NINZA is completely playing on that surprising effect. Meta NINZA is keeping themselves silent, and the moment someone walks in, yeah, well, it's pretty much like a bear trap. And Meta NINZA, they will make sure that you will be punished to the maximum. Phoenix Esports, at this moment, these utilities, they're really starting to hurt the players of Meta NINZA. And what an 8 that was from Goten. Once again, they go to Phoenix Esports. He's the only one who needs to step up and save the sinking ship of Phoenix. And if he does not do so, we all know the bird will never rise back up from the ashes. And Phoenix at this point in time, even Arjun is doing a fantastic job shutting down Pakar. TWOB, they might just lose their grip on this game just because Phoenix Esports, they somehow strike back TWOB.
Goten, the grenade can actually do a lot of damage to both the side of Meta NINZA, as Reaper is going for the revival onto Beard Baba. Finally, the nade is there. And
oh my god!
Receives hefty damage, but a single nade takes 2 players down from the side of Meta NINZA. This can actually mark it in for the entire team of Meta NINZA, because it has come down to a last 1v1 now.
Goten's like that annoying pest for the players of Meta NINZA, and they're just not able to find a proper control towards this pest. And Goten constantly poking that damage, chipping away the damage with the utilities. He also finds the confirmation on one of the players now. Dragon is right underneath him. He still needs to find the line of sight, and he will as well, but Goten, he whiffs all those shots. Dragon with the DBS pushes up close and personal, but even Dragon messes up big time. Goten, he's got the high ground advantage. Things can still be converted, but Goten, he whiffs a lot of shots, and Dragon, he gets a second chance to life.
5 finishes on the board, and Meta NINZA Dragon is still surviving and still breathing. He can actually go for the northern control of the circle. But towards the south, we have the players of Mad Kings up against the players of Hero Extreme God. Against Justin in a third party gets a confirmation point as well onto Jonathan. So that means Edmino, call him Godmino, is the only man remaining from the side of Hero Extreme Godlike. The main problem is, if the circle goes away from Godmino, then it's going to be so much challenging for him to survive.
Yeah, it will be. Hero Extreme Godlike with 7 elimination points acquired so far. 6 in the hands of Mino and Jonathan combined, and God's able to squeeze 1 in. And as long as Mino's alive, the Ray's still alive with getting a few more extra scrappy points. The zone's going to shift out in the open. TWOB and Mad Kings, the only 2 teams with the advantage. And as I mentioned, Mad Kings should spread themselves out a bit more. Playing all grouped up and clustered up is not a good strategy. And players like Edmino will try to abuse it as much as possible. The util toss from Edmino, it's not going to do anything, but the man needs to reposition. And what is he going to do now? The situation's going to call for it. Edmino needs to do something. The sword's on top of the neck. Even God's Reign in the nearby territory. They can possess a lot of threats here. God's Reign taking shots against Mad Kings. Now it's a proper separation from Mad Kings, and this is what I was talking about. This 2-2 split should have happened miles before. But now they do it. Better late than never.
God's Reign, once again playing on the edge of the circle, but now the circle has gone away from the players of God's Reign as well. But Justin, he is aware about the position of Edmino. Also, Justin has a vague idea about the players of Mad Kings as well. The main question is how they're going to traverse inside the circle, because they have to deal with Edmino, and finally Neo will be able to shut down the last player, and Hero Extreme Godlike, they have been eliminated on the 6th spot. But we also have got TWOB going up against the players of NoNx, where 2v2 situation. Are we all the way towards the balcony? A single grenade, few utils. And kind of a stalemate situation also, Necro.
Oh no, Vishu! That off angle from NoNx. It's so brilliantly played. And that's what you call threading the needle. But still anonymous. Even the man starting to face the brunt, TWOB. Unfortunately for them now, they're getting absolutely pounced. And there is no way the man's going to stand a chance. NoNx eliminating the likes of TWOB, and now NoNx, they somehow spring back to life. And this is what I'm talking about. Whenever you see NoNx in a game, you know they're going to survive till the top 5 bare minimum. And once again, they have made it till the top 4. God's Rain with 2 more players standing, looking good. And these 2 players, they've got Herculean task on their shoulders. But NoNx, they're just better. Miles better. As God's Rain, they're getting constantly struck. And Kalyug, this is a generation that is quite tough to tackle. And Kalyug, he's constantly devouring like a demon.
NoNx, yesterday they ended the day with a chicken dinner, and seems like today also they are going to start the day with a chicken dinner, as God's Rain has also been eliminated on the 4th spot. Kana, this guy is doing so much. Kalyug with 5 finishes out of 9. And look at the amount of information which the players of NoNx are having. Mad Kings joint at the hip is not a good position to be in.
Oh my god.
Angle.
Shadow, Mad Kings can actually win it! But no, Mad Kings! The game's spoiled! And now it is NoNx's game to lose! What happened? They shouldn't have done this! 2 players pushing in tandem in Dragon OP! A gift delivered! And Dragon OP now will be eliminated by anonymous NoNx! They claim the chicken dinner! Oh my god! It's a date with destiny for NoNx! Stars aligning! And NoNx, they're just here to hammer down the lobby. These young lads, they have proven that sometimes experience is not something that matters. What matters is the willpower. And NoNx, they're constantly ripping through anyone that stood against him. You talk about clinical, methodical gameplay, NoNx is good at that. You talk about the power, NoNx has it to the maximum limit. You talk about the assaulting, NoNx has always been great in that. No matter what aspect, NoNx ticks all the boxes.
Mad Kings, they are pretty upset about the performance because they didn't anticipate Dragon. They wanted to go for a flank angle, and that is why 2+ decided to pick the vehicle and go for the lower ridge flank angle. But Dragon, this guy was there, positioned perfectly. But look at the smiles on the faces of the players of NoNx.
If you think about it, it's back-to-back chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Yesterday, in the game 4, they got a chicken dinner, and now today, at the start of the day, they got a chicken dinner. NoNx with a back-to-back chicken dinner. If they secure the upcoming map as well, that's going to be a hat-trick. But what a game it's been from NoNx. Oh my god, this team, they're like the artists, and we all love to watch them every single time they're on the screen. Firepower's immaculate. Every single thing just automatically falls into the place. And Mad Kings, this blunder, I'm pretty sure it's going to affect their mentality so much in the upcoming time. But NoNx, this gameplay, it's mesmerizing.
It certainly it is. Mad Kings, a small mistake from their side. But let's see how things are going to be changed in the overall ranking. But overall ranking after a short little break on the other side.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
You talk about consistency, and the first theme that pops up in your head is definitely NoNx. Man, I've been saying so many times, a lot of people have been sleeping on this team, but the performance increase from week 1 to week 2 was immaculate, and the continuation of that in week 3 is just impeccable, and this back-to-back shows exactly that.
See, yes, NoNx has to be appreciated because back-to-back chicken dinners, there is a drastic improvement in the performance as well. But I really want to appreciate Dragon as well. The single lad was able to do so much. The way the entire team of Meta NINZA was holding on to that bridge, they were able to deal with so many players of Phoenix Esports as well. But kudos to the last player as well. He was able to shut down 2. But Dragon, that 1v2 which he pulled against the players of Mad Kings was the main reason that NoNx was able to get the chicken dinner, because if Mad Kings had gone for that flank angle, this could have gone either ways.
I agree. That would have basically kept the scenario in more so of a 55-45. I would still have given the advantage to the members of Mad Kings because they had the circle.
Yes.
NoNx would have had to leave their compound to eventually move out and take that fight. So yeah, I mean, Dragon, yeah, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for helping NoNx out there. But to be honest, he also saved his team from Phoenix Esports' elimination with Goten playing just like impeccably that he always does. 5 finishes coming in for the man, 71% finish contribution. Let's just be honest, Phoenix Esports, majority of the points are from Goten now.
71% finish contribution definitely proves that this guy was the one who was stepping up majorly. In the past also, it was Goten always who was doing the heavy lifting, but the best companion is Gravity from the side of Genesis with 3 rescues and 0 assists. Finisher has to be anonymous this time with 3 finishes and 0 assists. So NoNx has been playing pretty decent in the past few days.
This is the team that I always say, right? It slips under the radar from a lot of teams' names. It's like you don't realize that they are there because they are silently creeping up, silently walking up. And once they are, you realize that you are in the disadvantage. And this team is like having the biggest advantage out here. We're having a look at the highlights of the previous game as well to see how the action kicked off, where Godlike eventually wanted to take this fight against the members of K9. Jonathan, on such a low HP, was still able to clutch that fight out. And afterwards, we fixed our attention onto the members of Phoenix Esports, where eventually Goten was the only man remaining to spoil the game of Meta NINZA when the circle shifted away from them from under the bridge.
Dragon in this situation was able to do so much against the players of Phoenix Esports, and later on doing so much against the players of Mad Kings as well. It was only Sam left from the side of Mad Kings, and NoNx pretty much dealt with him pretty easily because they had the numbers advantage and everything. So this is a back-to-back chicken dinner, but the curse of a hat-trick is still there in the Master Series.
Imagine if the only team to pick up a hat-trick chicken dinner would end up winning the entire thing. It's going to be a fun storyline if that eventually happens.
To predict that.
I absolutely know that, but what if that happens? I'll have a reel for my social handles, but having a look at the match rankings out here. 22 points coming in for NoNx right now, 12 from eliminations, 10 from positions. Godlike, they were also able to get that 1 bounty, and thanks to that, at a total of 19 points right now. Meta NINZA as well, Dragon surviving for so long, still putting them up in the double digits though, but not a good game for OG, 8-bit, Marcos Gaming as well on the struggling end, Revenant X-Park. 2 to 3 of the top teams out here facing so many struggles trying to survive. And holy smokes, look at Meta NINZA now. Or rather, NoNx out here on 401 points. Yes, Still a bit far behind from the top 4, but now at least it is in the touching distance.
Yeah, Hero Extreme Godlike sitting on the 6th spot with 422 points, and they were able to claim those bounty points onto the players of iQOO Soul. But here's the thing, iQOO Soul, they are still in the top 4. They still have got the bounty, God's Reign, OG, R and TX. But slowly and steadily, Marcos Gaming were also trying to climb up the ladder. But recently, their 4v4 fights have been quite not that convincing, especially if you remember what really happened against the players of Genesis as well. It was Genesis who came on the top.
True.
But Frekney Esports, Likitha, Phoenix, TWOB, even Mad Kings, they need to pull up their socks because I think it's too late.
At this point,
not really, but it will be eventually.
I kind of agree with the statement you said that it is kind of too late right now, because let's just be brutally honest about it. Any team that is being ranked lower than 9th position right now, I don't think so they've got an opportunity to breach up in top 4 until and unless they play out of their mind on the Impact Player Week. And we know how rare that is to occur, right? So that's going to be a point of discussion. Yeah. We'll have a lot more things to discuss on, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? It's time for us to get a breather. Get your popcorns ready, because on the other side, we'll have Miramar.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
Alright, class, for today's lesson.
I already taught her something.
Unleashing the wicked new additions to the TVS Raider Super Squad. Deadpool and Wolverine brings you the sporty look, boost mode, segments first GTT, and a cluster loaded with 85 plus connected features. Shadow, the absolute brand new looks coming just for those Marvel fans out there.
Of course, I love the color and I'm a big fan of Deadpool. So I'm going to grab my hands on that bike very soon.
Keep that alone. Deadpool is mine. You can keep the Wolverine.
No, I'm a Deadpool fan. I am a Deadpool fan.
I have the Deadpool dance on my Instagram. That's a proof
So
that I'm a bigger fan. So
you
I'm going to
don't
keep
have
that.
the copyright on it that no one else can be a fan of Deadpool. Come on, man.
That is fair argument, though, but I'm still going to grab that bike. As we had just a look at the schedule, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the map of Miramar right now. A few teams who are not really able to bring themselves back up will now have to play to try and claim some more points from this one now. And there we go. Power is all the way back with the form. I mean, it kind of feels bad for 8-bit, right? They've been on So much struggling end out right now. Aquanox as well facing the injuries. And now even Power having certain struggles now. Both of these players, I mean, you talk about the biggest firepower of that team, they're both facing some struggles. And even after all of that, this team has been in the top 8. You can talk about the resilience, man. They are absolutely storming through it.
Don't you feel bad for the players of Hero Extreme God? Like, because they are also in the pretty much same situation. Last 2 days they were playing as a 3-man army. Today also they lost out to one of the players very early. Then it was once again a 3-man army playing. So
there's a big difference between having a bad health and not showing up on time. But the plane showed up on the time for the map of Miramar, people, as we'll be moving in as the plane fly path goes all the way from Impala just towards Montenuevo. It's going to be a very centralized fly path, but if there is anyone who wants to drop towards Torre Bronca, Tierra Bronca, always mess up that pronunciation, or Torre Humada, they're going to have to travel a long distance, maybe picking up a few vehicles along the way. Chimasera is still reachable. OG is not going to have any kind of problem. God's Rain, since the plane fly path is just above them, they're going to have their fun time dropping in Impala as well. The question is, will we see any bounty teams fighting out right now? Because Godlike managed to claim the bounty of Soul in the previous one.
you know what? You're brutal. Just like the previous circle of Erangel was.
I'm brutally honest.
You're brutal.
And honest.
Et tu Brutus.
I'm
just quoting Shakespeare, man. I can. I've read Julius Caesar. What do you mean?
The context of that dialogue is entirely different from the conversation right now.
That.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was rhyming with brutal, so I just said it.
I know, that's why it was funny.
I'm a funny person. But for now, no funny business.
That was funny as well. As you said, no funny business, and looks like Circle does not want to listen to you. Moving all the way up towards El Pozo, while most of the teams are down south. Only a few of them moving up inside. 8-bit, Soul, TWOB. Talking about TWOB, Shadow, now they're finding themselves in the last few circles, but when it comes down to converting those 4v4 fights as well, even though when they've got the numbers advantage, they seem to be making some rash decisions which eventually put them on the back foot with players knocked out or eventually just not being able to fight. That's a big problem.
You have a situation between the players of Marcos Gaming and K9 as well. Even Hero Extreme Gothic and OG also going up against each other towards the southern side of the map. So many fights. Marcos Gaming also trying to get the advantages of power play. But it is Hero Extreme Godlike who get the first blood. Omega knocked out in the open, and not even at minute 14. Is looking for the confirmation point. Should be in a pretty easy job. But here's the thing. OG has got a bounty on their heads. Can Hero Extreme Godlike once again claim the bounty points?
I definitely want to claim that, that's for sure. I'm not quite sure if OG were ready for that right now. 4 people in just one vehicle. Marcos Gaming, they want to try and hunt down the members of K9. Heard the prey, that's already bleeding. Not like this. Didn't really download the right version of Tokyo Drift. Holy smokes! He literally flipped the vehicle 180 degrees out there, and now they're absolutely out in the open. Massive problems coming in for the side of Marcos Gaming though. That's a big blunder. But the same could be said for the members of OG on the other side. They can't really face the members of Godlike. They've already lost 2 of them. And AK, along with Visgod, they've decided to back off from that fight to deny the bounty points.
Can they really do that? Because Hero Extreme Godlike, there is a very high chance they can go for the chase. They've got the vehicles, and yes, they are on the periphery of the circle. But look at the rotation which Hero Extreme Godlike is trying to pull off. They are not entering inside the circle. Rather, they are going for the chase onto the players of OG. They're hungry for those extra bounty points. They know the players of OG are wounded, and this is the perfect time to rush onto them.
But I love the decision making from the Apes as well. If there are people who are looking at the map feed, both AK and Visgod, they've decided to split their ways just to make sure that even if Godlike want to go in for that chase, they'll not be able to manage to get both of them. That's a really smart move. Now, coming back onto this fight, Marcos Gaming, that one blunderous move of knocking the vehicle turned the tides of this entire fight. SK9, they've given the revive as well, but hold on for a second. Stone BGMS, alright. M16A4. Single taps, nice. Works fine. Can you find that confirmation? If your player is knocked out in the wild though, but this is not a fruitful fight for either of these teams right now, Shadow, because they're absolutely out in the open in basically nowhere. I don't think so they'll have enough loot for the next fight now because both of them are basically running on scrappy ammos.
Agreed. K9. Slug needs to patch himself up as soon as possible. Gyrogod, this guy has got a certain height advantage onto the plus of K9. And a perfect nade right in the face of Ninja Boy takes him down. Slug going for the rescue mission, but the follow-up nade can actually get Slug as well down. But finally, the connection was missing, but Marcos Gaming, this is the moment they can actually rush onto the players of K9 because they've already lost onto one of the player. One player is knocked out. This is the best possible time for Marcos Gaming to make their move, but Gyrogod seems like he's aware about the position of Omega, and that is the reason that the hesitation is there. But Superman, even he also needs time to go for the rescue mission and patch himself up.
The fun fact is they also have noticed the flank position as well, so Stone is keeping a watch on that. That's big coming in from the side of Marcos Gaming. 1-for-1 trade has been confirmed right now, so Noddy, if you can find this one knock on Beast, that's going to give a humongous advantage to Marcos Gaming as Beast is nowhere aware. Oh my god, Noddy turned at the right second when he was about to have that vision. Still firing a few shots right on the other side. Gyrogod is able to find Slug as he tries to turn around 180 degrees to get the second one. Moves in, drops down, but had to reload. Messed up big time now as the confirmation flows for K9. Ninja Boy, Omega and Beast now a big advantageous situation. Noddy is all the way in the far fray. Beast is going to move around him as Omega and Ninja Boy will take care of Stone. Or they should, apparently.
Here's the thing. All this is happening on the eastern part of the map, and when the plus of K9 or Marcos Gaming will try to rotate inside the circle, TWOB is actually on the eastern periphery. We also have got Revenant XPA going up against the players of 4TR, where one of the player of 4TR has been knocked out, and this is happening all the way towards south in Los Leones. Soon the blue will also start closing in. Stone BGMS. This guy has got nothing. No bandages, no painkiller, no agent, nothing at all. This is the moment when the players of Marcos Gaming have to prioritize the rotation as well. But Stone BGMS out in the open instantly has been knocked out by Ninja Boy. Confirmation point easily secured, and slowly and steadily Marcos Gaming, they are falling down.
They were doomed to fall down as soon as their vehicle turned around.
Yeah.
That was the exact moment because everyone from the side of K9, they had certain kind of position which eventually pinned them down and forced them into awkward positions. And then those late flanks as well coming in. It was picture perfect. TWOB, I think they were on their way to meet, or rather third party this entire fight, but they met Mad Kings, so they are now fighting against them. Both the teams who wanted to third party eventually ending up fighting amongst themselves. Right now, Pucar is also going to be finished down. Clutch God. Nasty shots coming in with his M4. But he's still got two more people to take care of before they can give revive to Apollo. Really want that one of the top fraggers of your team to be back up on the feed. Nade going in a little bit wide. Really landing in the perfect position. Vishu's got a bit of a flank out there, but they've got to be careful because there's Global Esports around the fray.
Yeah, Global Esports also doing a perfect third party as they get the better out of Phantom. TWOB, even they are wounded at this point. Global Esports, Troy, trying to pip a few bullets towards the side of Mad Kings as well, who are trying to scuttle back to the safety. But look at the circle, only 2 teams. Out of 16 teams, only 2 teams are inside the safety of the circle. iQOO Soul and 8-Bit. NoNx, yes, they are also in the periphery towards the southern side, but they also need to deal with the players of Meta NINZA. Global Esports, Mad Kings, OnePlus, K9, God's Train. They all are trying to traverse from the eastern side.
That's a big part of the puzzle that you've mentioned right now because a lot of teams will try to fit in there. There's not a lot of space to work around with. You will eventually collide with a lot of teams. Revenant X-Park as well. Focusing down on the members of Phoenix. The fight that started in Los Leones still continuing down south of Los Leones. And you also see 4TR up close to them. That was the initial fight, to be honest. still, shots being fired. Trace got. He's got the UMP up in his hands. No shotgun out here. Still trying to maybe win this one. The SMG in close range. It's a good choice, but the timing is not really working out for him. Just sees the shadow out here. Maybe he can find one. It's the last player standing up here. And he's going to be taken down as well. Trace God not surviving. But Phoenix confirming this entire fight. 4 finishes shadow for them. That's probably the bounty being claimed as well by Phoenix.
Yeah, 3 finishes towards the side of Goten. Bounty on the players of RNTX has already been secured. And this is the second time today we are seeing RNTX taking early exit. But iQOO 8-bit and iQOO Soul, both trying to be the king of the hills. And finally, Somraj is the first one to be knocked out from the side of iQOO Soul. But legit, hefty damage towards him. Even Nakul, he needs to patch himself up. This is not looking really great for the players of iQOO Soul. A single grenade can take both the players down.
This is like a typical sibling fight when they're chilling on the couch. But this nade absolutely doing a perfect damage. Legit moves up close and personal as well. There's still a player down. You've got to take care of him. Raiden falls as well. And the call has been made. Holy smokes. There's a Formula 1 car up on top, but his power falls down with it. An 8-bit. Just like the law, the younger sibling gets eliminated. What a big confirmation by Soul, and legit being the top player. And that was such a funny moment with his power falling down like that.
I have a question. On what basis you decided 8-bit is the younger sibling?
Just because Soul won.
Okay.
Well, the sibling is...
I thought younger sibling is the one who comes later.
Exactly.
And the elder one is who is born first.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll leave that to you to figure out, because I really can't get your jokes. But for now, Mad Kings still in the blue. We have got the players of Global Esports and K9 trying to traverse from the eastern side. In all this commotion, if you notice, Genesis, they have got a decent spot inside the circle. But Punk on a sliver of HP up against the entirety of Meta NINZA, and finally Punk has been knocked out by Dragon himself. Should be an easy confirmation point for Hero Extreme, for Meta NINZA onto Hero Extreme God like Punk as well. Beast finally gets a knock onto Adi as well. This rotation from the eastern side is becoming so problematic for all the 3 teams. But Hero Extreme Godlike, it's only Jonathan remaining. It seems like he wants to take the advantage of the height, but this uphill battle is not really going to go in his favor, as from a far off angle, someone else is going to finish off Jonathan and Hero Extreme Godlike. Even they have been eliminated on the 12th spot now.
I mean, they were standing up for the rotation of OG towards La Trilera for such a long time that they eventually lost their own good timing to hop into the circle, considering the number of teams that were alive. Eventually pushing them in such an awkward spot. Eventually taken down. Creed has never ever led to anyone's success.
4 points towards the side of Meta NINZA. This team has definitely shown improvement in the gameplay in the past few days. But for now, they might need the secondary loot as well, because if you notice, Reaper, his helmet is completely damaged. This guy has got just a single first aid, but Ghost Rain, they are maintaining the complete southern control, but they need to be cautious because Mad Kings and Phoenix Esports, they're also trying to traverse from the southern side of the map. But for now, Ninja Boy, 5 finishes towards the side of K9. They're actually taking the brunt of the blue, and Global Esports is making sure that the journey for K9 is not an easy one, because they're also left with only 2 players, and whoever makes it to the circle first is going to gatekeep the other one.
To see. Just as you mentioned, those eastern sides being entirely empty right now gives an opportunity for them to try and eventually move forward. Out here though, it's all the way down south. God's Reign remaining, standing strong. Mad Kings, they're also going to make a mad dash from there. Phoenix Esports as well. So the next commotion we're going to see is probably going to be from that part. And also, for the people out there who want to play BGMI and maybe unlock
this most beautiful Nyx and Sinistra set, you can try and spin and unlock it. It all starts with just 10 UC. Make sure when you're playing the game and if you want to try out your luck, go and spin. You might be the one who would eventually win. The same hope is what is carrying Phoenix Esports right now out from the blue all the way towards the circle. But God's Reign are the ones who are trying to deny that. Trying to answer. They've already got one of their players knocked out as well, but Goten is still standing, and as long as this man stands, he can always turn into that Super Saiyan. Can always be the one who just absolutely destroys the other side. The only question is, how will Phoenix Esports approach this fight? The numbers are equalized right now.
Beast of K9 has been knocked out by the play zone. And this is what happened when you spend so much time in the blue. God's Reign, this is going to be the battle of the grenades. K9, they have been eliminated, but Genesis is also going up against the plus of Team iQOO Soul. But for now, Justin on our screens. No grenades, no molotovs, just a single smoke. God's Reign is definitely short on those utils, but Phoenix Esports, they claimed the bounty.
This is the best thing for them, because if they win this fight, Shadow...
Second bounty.
Exactly.
And a big jump in the overall ranking and the confidence as well. This is what the players of Phoenix Esports need to do. But here's the thing, even the blue is going to close them in. The fight against the blue is something you are never going to win.
Goten, he's got the perfect angle right now, knocks in two more people as well. Picture perfect play coming in from him, but that's still two more people you need to take care of. And the blue is destroying the man. He finally falls down and Justin holds his ground. Keeps the hopes alive for God's Reign. And destroys it for Phoenix Esports. For so long, there's still Archit in the blue. Or rather, in the safe circle.
He's hiding. He's not moving a muscle, trying not to reveal his position. And here's the thing, if he actually gets a knock onto one of the player of God's Reign, it will boil down to the last 1v1 situation. So there is a still high chance that Phoenix can claim the bounty on the players of God's Reign. For now, Genesis, they've got good control of the circle. OG, they've got the entire northern control. Even the players of iQOO Soul, they are trying to be the king of the hills towards the side of Crater Fields. That is where the circle is. But Mad Kings?
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Forget about the bounty right now. It's Justin who's fallen down on the ground.
And that too in the blue.
Hey, there's no way Archit is going to get the confirmation on that. The only thing he can do is deny any kind of position points to God's Reign if he wins this 1v1, because Delta seems to be knowing his position.
Here's the thing, even if Archit wins this fight, he's not going to secure the bounty points.
That's true.
But the next circle shift is actually what the players of God's Reign, or should I say the last player of God's Reign, is waiting for.
North.
No, it will go towards the side of Meta NINZA.
Let's see.
We'll find out very soon.
It's going to be fun. Next few seconds.
Yeah.
All the way up out
3,
here.
2.
That's not how 3 seconds last though, but it's going all the way towards the northeast.
It's not a north, it's probably west.
No.
Yeah, it's a western shift. Eastern, I'm sorry. You confuse me, man.
We're going to talk about that in a few seconds out there as Gravity tries to survive out there with a nick of HP right now. Mad Kings out in the open as the circle shifted towards them on the eastern fray. NoNx as well all the way down south of that circle now. They'll be gatekeeping the members who might want to hop in from the southern end. Meta NINZA as well. They've got a lot of terrain to work with, so I don't think so they're going to face any kind of problem, but it's only iQOO Soul who can eventually get a line of sight on them, so that could be a bit of a problem. Genesis now controlling that northern fray. OG have been pushed out. That's going to be big, but Archit needs to try and win out all this fight. The TPP coming in for the advantage, sends out the nade. Pre-cooked, perfectly cooked as he wins the fight and shuts down the members of God's Reign, destroying their dreams of getting any placement points. And with that, his own run will end. Dragon will put him out of the misery. Just one extra elimination away from claiming that bounty point. But I think so it's absolutely fine. Phoenix did their job.
For sure. This was definitely a good game for the players of Phoenix Esports, but they are still sitting on the 21st spot. This is a slow climb for the players of Phoenix. But Meta NINZA, even they need the points and they are playing quite good recently. But for now, Genesis is also going up against the players of Team iQOO, where Legit has been knocked out. And Genesis, here's the thing, whenever this team has a circle control, they tend to perform good, and Miramar has been their home ground. Miramar is a map where Genesis shine the most. But if you notice from the side of iQOO, out of 5, 4 finishes are just by Legit himself. The impact player of first week. Legit has been such a great addition in the entire roster of iQOO because the entire team can actually rely on to him. Even Knuckle also, if you remember, this guy pulled off a 1v4 against the players of MyG in one of those maps. But everyone, I'm sure, all the iQOO fans are just waiting for that winner chicken dinner, because yesterday, that is the only thing which was missing from the side of iQOO. But for the audience, we have got something. You guys can actually watch the POV of your favorite teams, RNTX, Godlike, Genesis and Medal. But only on Jio Hotstar, because now Jio Hotstar, it has got the multicam feature along with the map feed.
Perfect one for all the people who just want to watch specific teams out there. Maybe you want to see who they're targeting. You know, it's going to be fun. Might want to try that out right now. As we have a look at the another shift of the circle. NINZA still controlling the southeastern fray. Genesis exactly on the opposite end. North and northwestern part. Or rather, northeastern part. I'm getting affected by the shadow directional disease.
Is that a term in dictionary?
Yep. Oh, a centric shift coming in now. That only means that these teams will have to close in the gap shadow. That means they're going to be keeping their own positions while also taking fights on multiple fronts. That still puts Seoul in a very advantageous position because they've got the highest ground.
Even Genesis, they can also be the king of the hills. They're trying to go for the entire northern control, but iQOO Joker. Be careful, man. When you're the king of the hill, so many eyes are going to be on you. Legit. For now, he's trying to deal with the players of Meta NINZA. But here's the thing. If Goblin actually do manage to go for the flank angle, there is a high possibility they can suppress the players of Meta NINZA. But AKOP, the last man standing from the side of Orangutan as well, needs to make his move. Not too many first aids or throwables towards him, but enough to work around. But Meta NINZA Dragon OP has been knocked out from the moving vehicle. Legit, what a spray transfer that was.
And that was the driver as well. So now that vehicle all the way out in the open, slowed down as well, almost destroyed as it gets Poco down and out. Another spray right now, which was supposed to be connected on Dragon, catching another player. That's going to be Reaper out in the open as he moves at left and right. But Legit destroys Meta NINZA out in the open. They were focused too much on Goblin and his flank that they did not realize where Legit was. Now Goblin moving out in the open as well. He cannot stop his vehicle as everyone falls. Joker just claiming those confirmations. Goblin turns around, destroys Beard Baba. And that's Meta NINZA out of the game.
On the 7th spot, Meta NINZA. But still a decent performance coming in from their side, but not enough to propel themselves in the overall ranking till the top 12. But Genesis, for now, once again having that entire eastern control of the circle towards the north. Mad Kings on the lower ground. And finally, Shadow has been knocked out. Sam is the only player remaining from the side of Mad Kings. What is really happening wrong with the players of Mad Kings? 2 players still remaining. Sam is one of them. Clutch God on the backlines is trying to provide all the backline support which Sam needs. But here's the thing. Soon the blue will start closing in, and Mad Kings, they have to traverse inside the circle. And Genesis is trying their level best to stop the players of Mad Kings in their tracks.
It's got to be the greatest dash ever from Mad Kings to try and breach against 3 members of Genesis. But knowing what Genesis has been doing, I think so that is possible. We'll just have to wait and see.
For sure.
Few more seconds now as the blue is already starting to make its move. Sam, not quite sure if that was the best decision though. They're still going to reposition right inside of it. Gotta take care and cover off that ledge. as the next circle shift will definitely put them in a disadvantage unless it's a shift on them. Now here's the thing, Shadow. Looking at the entire map right now, Seoul has taken the entire western fray for themselves apart from just AKOP. And I'm not quite sure if they actually know about this one Strangler from OG remaining.
Quick prediction, Scared. Quick.
Genesis.
I said quick.
That's how fast my brain works.
Let's see if you are also following the path of your elder brother, Maisie.
Wow.
Because Raman certainly is. But for now, Joker, from the height advantage, spots out AKOP and takes 50 HP out of him. Surviving around 220 HP probably. But AKOP, here's the thing. He's all the way towards the northern side. And iQOO Soul has all the information onto him. Look at the position where Goblin is, and this is what I was about to say. A single grenade marks an end for the last player of Orangutan. 10 finishes accumulated, and this can actually be a chicken dinner game for the players of iQOO Soul as well. But for now, Genesis, the entire focus is on the players of Mad Kings. Clutch God with a grenade is trying to find something, but they are on the lower ground. Gravity, Hunters, these guys are so precise with those nade usages. And speaking of Hunters, he gets one onto iQOO Soul as well.
Yeah, he's trying to gatekeep those members out there. Gets a confirmation on Goblin as well. That renders Soul with just 2 people. It's going to be difficult for them to deal with right now, as again, Mad Kings, they're forced to make the mad dash. Shots not connecting as they get destroyed. Genesis controlling the entire north and eastern fray, while it's going to be NoNx who will now fight from the south. It's legit a battle between the Lannisters and the Starks. We'll see who the winter supports. Soul could definitely be the White Walkers out in this entire fight. You didn't get any of that reference, did you?
I did get that.
Wait, what? You've seen GOT?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I told you about it. I didn't see the last season.
Fair. Never watch it. Never watch it.
But you know, here's the thing. If NoNx actually converts this one, it's going to be a hat-trick for them. They have the numbers advantage. They have got the entire southern control. And yes, Genesis also have got all the 4 players alive. But NoNx are the silent forces right now. iQOO Soul, their presence is very much aware about the players of Genesis. And Hunters, up close personal. I'm betting money on NoNx. This is their game to lose. You pick Genesis, I pick NoNx.
The big thing is that Genesis would need to convert this fight properly without losing members. If that happens, then yes, it could be anyone's game. If they lose a member, then NoNx is going to convert the entire thing. Because Genesis are playing with a 2-2 split.
Yeah.
If they lose member, they'll not be able to give the revive. And Yash is making a risky decision right now. There's still a couple of members of NoNx out in front of him. He'll have to be careful. Genesis do have the higher ground, so they will keep that advantage. But they've got to deal with the members of Soul. Up close to them right now as Kalyug. He's the one who actually finds the answer. Just as we thought. The Lannisters and the Starks uniting to deal with the White Walkers first, as Legit is the only man standing. But he could definitely be the White Walker King that he always has been standing upon. His name moves up close. S12K in the hand, tries to deal some damage to Yash. Hunters stand up in front of him. It's 2 Goliaths on 1v1. Who's gonna win it at such a far range? It's Hunters to stand up onto his name, but NoNx find the perfect opportunity to strike back.
NoNx so close to getting a hat-trick for themselves, as it's only 3 men remaining from the side of Genesis. The barrage of grenades, the barrage of neutrals coming in, and Anonymous has been knocked out. Viper has to go for the revival, but seems like they're prioritizing the fight as Zap has been knocked out, and Kana along with Viper is actually moving in. Gravity on a very low HP also gets taken down. Genesis, they are losing this fight.
They are absolutely losing all the members right now, as the priority is to give the revival to Hunters. But I'm not quite sure if that's the best decision out right now. Another nade being lobbed in. Hunter catching the stray bullets as NoNx will convert the first ever hat-trick in BGMS Season 4. Impeccable performance from the boys. The rise that they took from week 2 onwards. has not been slowing down.
Of course, NoNx. They were the one who was struggling in the week 1. And finally getting back-to-back 3 chicken dinners. A hat-trick for themselves. 1 yesterday in last Erangel. 2 back-to-back today. That makes a hat-trick for the players of NoNx Esports. And now they are going to catapult themselves in the overall ranking. But this was actually a good game coming in from side of Genesis as well after a very long time. Even they were on the struggling side.
And they were winning the fights as well.
Yeah.
It's not like it was only the position points. It was still those finish points as well which we were looking forward to. But man, oh man, what a play from NoNx. Finding out the best opportunity as soon as Hunters was just a little bit exposed, right? And drained out by the fight against Digit. That's when NoNx struck. Taking out the big man out there though. But there's another big man on the stage for the interview, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to send it down to Viper and Serene on the stage.
Unprecedented, adbhut, सच्ची में अविश्वसनीय, and the man has got bling. Man, NoNx, Viper, 3 back-to-back chicken dinners. नहीं देखा हमने challenges में देखा भाई ऐसा होते हुए, मास्टर सीरीज में ऐसा होते हुए नहीं दिखा है. First thoughts, man.
मास्टर सीरीज में देखा नहीं इसलिए तो दिखाया.
यार एक बात बताओ, हम लोग बात कर रहे थे, ओशन भी था, फिक्सेस भी था, रावण भी अंदर बैठा हुआ है, शिव भी अंदर है. Anonymous जो कॉल्स देता है, जिसके तुम रिस्पॉन्स देते हो yes no, it's the cleanest way of giving calls. उससे कितना फायदा होता है क्योंकि वहां पे आप लोगों के दिमाग में क्लैरिटी होती है कि एग्जैक्टली हमें कहाँ जाना है और क्या करना है.
जी मतलब वो तो जो भी कॉल देते हैं हम लोग बिल्कुल ट्रस्ट करके फॉलो करते हैं. एक डाउट भी नहीं आता दिमाग में. जो भी बोलते हैं एकदम अच्छे से फॉलो करते हैं
और क्लैरिटी देखने को मिलती है. स्लो में भी चिकन, फास्ट में भी चिकन. ये कैसे कर जाते हो आप लोग?
बस सब अच्छे से कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं और इजीली अपना जोन लेते हैं, आ जाता है चिकन.
भाई ये क्या, ये रूमर है कि अनोनिमस ने बोल रखा है कि हर प्लेयर के पास नेड्स होने चाहिए 4-5 एंड बैटल के लिए.
ये तो रूल है हमारी टीम का, होना ही चाहिए नेड्स.
अब आप लोगों ने चढ़ाई तो स्टार्ट कर दी है लेकिन मंजिल अभी थोड़ी दूर है. टॉप 4 का सपना बनाए बैठे हो आप लोग?
जी अब वही एम है, टॉप 4 तो आना ही आना है. कुछ भी करके ट्राई करेंगे अपना और अच्छा बेस्ट दें हम.
भाई कमाल कर दिया यार NoNx ने. भाई पर थैंक यू सो मच. 3 बैक-टू-बैक चिकन डिनर्स नहीं हुआ है लेकिन अब हुआ है. लेंगे एक ब्रेक और लौटेंगे वापस.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Radar, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You forgot to charge your phone. Why won't you wake up?
humble beginning, हमेशा नहीं था स्टार, यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार, डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का, डाउट से हजार, तब प्ले ओपी आया तो लगा ही नहीं, अब पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस, प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप्स एकदम हार्ड, प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट.
With the 3 first ever back-to-back chicken dinners in BGMS Season 4, ladies and gentlemen, NoNx want to soar higher than Icarus, and there's no sun to burn their wings this time around. This team, it looks unstoppable when the communication is on point, Shadow.
Of course, the entire team of NoNx Esports has been performing so great. In fact, yesterday only Necro was pointing out the fact that Viper has the capability of bring the cheeky plays in the picture as well, especially if you remember yesterday, the fight against the players of Gorson. And yesterday... True. Not just yesterday, today also the players of NoNx Esports are bringing in the aggression the entire time. They were maintaining the northern control. They were letting the players of iQOO Soul and Genesis go up against each other and they strike at the right moment.
That's the biggest part about it, right? And trusting the calls of the IGL. That's what Viper also mentioned in the interview, that the IGL gives a call and then we are all like, all right, we're going to follow it. Doesn't matter where the destination leads, right? It's the destination that matters. It's the trust on the IGL that matters. And it is showing up in this team big time. I'm absolutely proud of them because, let's be honest, we all were hoping for a new name to pop up into the top 4. We've constantly been seeing the exact same old names out here right now. So if this team can shake up that top 4, I'm going to be super happy.
So am I, but even iQOO Soul was also doing so much, and all thanks to this one lad. Legit, the MVP himself, 7 finishes and 70% finish contribution. I have to say this, Legit is a great addition in the lineup of iQOO Soul. He's an asset which iQOO Soul is using to the full potential, but for now the best companion in stars of the match is going to be Ninja Boy with 2 rescues and 1 assist, and Kana is going to be the finisher with 3 finishes and 1 assist.
Still remember the days when, the earlier few days when NoNx players were struggling, right? But Legit, on the other hand, he was that one new asset for Soul itself who was still performing during all those times. And even after all of that, it just seems like he took off a lot of pressure from the rest of the members. Also Joker and Goblin, who we're now finally seeing slowly and steadily step up. This was the one big fight which I was mentioning. Soul taking on the members of 8-Bit. Eventually, the funniest one was S-Power, driving his buggy out there and then ending up falling down instantly. All in all, it was a very nice opportunity for Soul to take control because, and they did so, 10 finishes up in their bags, having that high ground for themselves to work with, destroying teams left, right and center. But then it was Genesis who eventually took them down and out as well.
Yeah, Genesis, they had the height advantage, but one by one, individual fights were given to the players of NoNx Esports, and NoNx Kana did capitalize on that. The smoke cover was there, but it a bit delayed. If it had been there beforehand, maybe things would have gone the other way.
I agree. They did not really prepare for the next fight per se. And they were fully focused on one of those fights. But man, I never thought I'd see this. But we finally are witnessing it. And I know Nick is sitting right next to me. His eyes have popped out as well. Just like an anime moment. 18 total finishes. Or rather total points. Thanks to those 10 bounty points which Phoenix were able to claim. NoNx on the other side with the chicken dinner. They've ended up getting a total of 16 points. Soul close by. 10 finishes. 5 position points. That's going to bring them to 15. Back-to-back bad games coming in for OG as well as 8-Bit Shadow. Now this is not really looking good for both of them.
Yeah, 8-Bit, 0 points, TWOB just a single point on the board. Even for the players of Orangutan as well, just total of 2 points and that 2 finish points. But in the overall ranking, now we have got RNTX and iQOO Soul. They have elevated themselves to the 2nd spot with 455 points. Yes, they are lacking on the chicken dinners, but they're getting the total points, finish points for themselves. They've got the 243 finishes. 2nd highest probably on the page.
It's going to be big coming in for their side. 8-Bit, again, some of those bad games. It has eventually propelled them onto that 9th position. Not really some place where they would want to be. Maiji lost Hermanos, moving all the way up as well to that 12th. I think so they're going to be pretty happy about the performance from yesterday. So maybe we're going to see them continue today as well in the next 2 games as the groups will change. Having a look at the last page. NINZA, Mad Kings moving all the way to that page. It's something we were never expecting. Even Team Aryan. Shadow, these are some things that we would not expect, right? These are the teams that whenever we are seeing, we would not really see them that, yeah, they're going to be on the last page. We expect them to move a little bit up. But I think so they're lacking in a few things out here. But if you think that you're lacking, or maybe you've got a kick for that English test, you might want to give out the Duolingo English test, which is accepted by 6,000 plus universities, ladies and gentlemen. Moving back onto that conversation, Shadow, there's some things that these teams now need to do to move themselves back up at least in top 12.
Yeah, they have to get those finish points and the placement points as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But, there's something that we're building up onto, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? That's going to be a short interview. With who? That's the question you ask. Let's answer that instantly right now.
मेरे साथ इस समय NoNx के रैपिडो हैं। रैपिडो अभी कुछ दिनों पहले आपका जन्मदिन था और उसके पहले की परफॉर्मेंस और आपके बर्थडे के बाद की परफॉर्मेंस NoNx की, ये चिकन डिनर्स क्या बर्थडे ट्रीट है आपके?
बर्थडे ट्रीट तो वही होगा कि अगर ट्रॉफी मिल जाए तो वो ज़्यादा बेटर ट्रीट है। ये चिकन तो चलो गेम का एक पार्ट है, अभी ये राउंड खत्म हो जाएगा फिर तो ये चिकन मैटर नहीं करेगा। वही अगर ट्रॉफी मिलती है तो वो एक ट्रीट कह सकते हैं आप एक।
एंड एनोनिमस के बारे में मेरे को जानना है यार, बैक टू बैक चिकन डिनर्स निकाल दिया आपने, एक दिन का लास्ट गेम, अगले दिन का पहला गेम। एनोनिमस एज अ पर्सन जो कॉल्स होते हैं क्या होता है, हाउ इज ही डिफरेंट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट अदर आईजीएल्स?
डिफरेंट वो इसलिए है क्योंकि वो बहुत एक काम आईजीएल है, वो बिल्कुल भी चलाते नहीं अपने प्लेयर्स पे, और एंड काफ़ी अच्छा आईजीएल है वो। मेरे को पहले ऐसे आईजीएल मिले हैं जो बहुत काम है एंड वो गलती बताते हैं बट एक अच्छे वे में बताते हैं कि अगला प्लेयर डिमोटिवेट ना हो, ऐसा टाइप का है आईजीएल वो।
एंड हाउ डू यू गाइज अप्रोच द फाइट? जितनी भी फाइट्स अभी तक हमने देखी हैं, क्योंकि बहुत क्लीन एग्जीक्यूशन NoNx की तरफ से मिल रही है, जोन में सही जगह फाइट सही लेना, वो अप्रोच कैसे आती है?
वो तो अनोनिमस का ही है सारा, वो ही अंदर गेम के अंदर सब संभालते हैं। एंड फर्स्ट हमने ट्राई करा था कि बाउंटी के लिए जाए एंड पावर प्ले में फाइट्स लेके पॉइंट्स इकट्ठा करे, बट वो वर्क नहीं करा। फिर हमने वो चेंज करा, फिर हमने पावर प्ले में मतलब ऐसे पुश करना बंद कर दिया, अपना बेसिक गेम खेलना जैसे हमने BMPS में खेला था वैसे ही खेलना स्टार्ट करा, तो अच्छे चिकन कन्वर्ट होने लग गए।
क्या लगता है अब टॉप 4?
टॉप 4 ही वही टारगेट है हमारा।
ऑलराइट, NoNx they are ready to dominate now.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
After a hat-trick now, the question remains how many back-to-back could eventually happen as we move back in, ladies and gentlemen, and the groups will eventually change. Some big names hopping back in, while some big names are being taken out. OG and God's Raid, but not really having the best games out there, will have to move back, while we're going to see teams like True Rippers, Reckoning Esports to move back in along with RN, but they've got a change on the desk as well. The big boy Necro is back in the house now. You missed the hat-trick, dude.
Of course I did, and I'm so happy for a team like NoNx, but unfortunately, we won't be able to see them in this map of Sanhok because we know the groups are now shuffled, and we're going to have Group A back inside of the action. But speaking of Group A, we do have a lot of desperate names over here too. Let's not forget about Team Aryan. Let's not forget about FS Esports. These are some of the names that are, of course, making a few changes in their playstyle. We're seeing an impact as well in the overall standings. But speaking about impact, in that previous game, Phoenix Esports somehow top of the chart with that bounty. But of course, that's not enough. Phoenix Esports, they need a lot of good performances just like that.
Here's the thing, right? Now, I don't think so they've got enough time to breach into the top 12 as well. I was having a discussion about this with Shadow. Teams on the last page, yes. The ones that are ranking from 17th to 20th might have a chance to bombard themselves into the top 12. But anyone after that, I think so it's more about their momentum and them recalibrating their actions so that they can perform really well in the playoffs and not get eliminated there. While for the teams who are already around that fray, anyone who's above the top 12 position, they're going to try and maybe move up in top 8. The ones who are in top 8 will try to move up in top 4.
Another thing that I really want to point out is also Metal Esports and their performance recently. Because before Metal Esports, of course, they were doing so good, getting those back-to-back chicken dinners. But recently, Metal Esports' performance is definitely fading away. But something that's not going to fade away is this skin right here on your screen. The Nixon Sinistra set, starting at just 10 UC, you guys can spin and unlock. And of course, it's a limited time offer, so you guys should do it as soon as possible.
I absolutely love that skin.
Of course.
Now coming back. Absolutely. It's amazing. It's cool. One more thing that I actually love is to see Genesis perform really well. Hunter's back in the 1v4 form, which we were really seeing from him. He's been showing the glimpses of that, but I'd have to say Genesis would need to pull in a lot more socks up to move back up into that top 4 out here right now. Though there's another big thing that I wanted to focus on out. Now, OG and God's Reign, neither of these teams are going to be playing, right? So one of them, or probably both of them, are going to be propelled all the way down. So this is a big chance coming in for the teams of Group A or Group C to finally barge into that top 4 and maybe change those standings a little bit.
And speaking of changing the standings, even Reckoning Esports, they have been trying their best to do something, or at least get something done. Another team that is trying is also True Rippers, and this is also another concerning name, right? Because True Rippers, yes, we've seen those bursts of good performances, but now recently that burst is completely absent, and that is really fumbling up the entirety of True Rippers.
I agree. It just seems like the momentum that they had earlier on, right? They've kind of lost it, and now not really claiming those bounty points or those extra power-up points, which we always talk about, the bonus points. It is kind of biting them in the back because all the top 4 teams, or even the ones who are in the top 12, they're the ones who've claimed a lot of those points. True Rippers, they've got the consistency in, but they still really need to focus more on those eliminations.
Indeed. And yes, we have heard that music, which means the plane's already in the skies, ready to take a flight. And this time, the plane flight path, of course it will be the one to dictate the pace. Starting all the way from Camp Alpha towards the opposite side, which is Camp Long. This plane flight path, of course it's forgiving.
Kind of. I mean, it's an map of Sanhok. Most of the teams would eventually be able to drop anywhere they want to. Not really that problematic. The only thing that's never forgiving is going to be the circle. Because we know and we've seen how much the circle dictates the entire pace of all these teams.
Yeah, indeed it does, right? K9 Esports dropping towards the hilltop as usual, just going for the high ground advantage as soon as possible. Metal Esports once again locking horns, maybe with the players of FS Esports. It's been going on for a while now. And for Team Aryan, dropping towards Ruins, it's pretty much the classic thing they like to do. Metal Esports, though, moving towards the Crore vicinity. Interesting. Genesis Esports probably drop clashing towards Paradise Resort. Once again, 8-Bit dropping towards Boot Camp now. That's a little bit weird from 8-Bit.
Interesting.
But I'm a big fan of this drop clash. Let's see what's going to happen. There's 3 teams next to each other. Hero Extreme, Godlike, 8-Bit, and there's one more team. I think it is Reckoning Esports.
Yeah, it indeed is Reckoning right now, but 8-Bit is the first one to have a casualty on their side. Beast has been knocked down on his feet. Not really the start they would really have wanted to have out there, as Raiden is going to follow the exact same fate. Worst one to start things off with, 8-Bit. Not the way how they wanted the things to start, as even his power falls.
Yeah.
He gets knifed out of that vicinity as Genesis, the lock-ons with 4 TR, and now it seems like they're in the trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately for Genesis Esports, it's not a good fight at all. One man's already knocked out, and that's Gravity. He's now floating in the sky. Genesis Esports. Hunters, the man gets chipped up extremely low, but he's still back into cover. So it's all good in the hood. The man's got the DBS to defend himself, so it's all good in the hood. 4TR pain. This man definitely does want to inflict a bit more of that pain against the players of Genesis Esports. But 4TR, they're constantly hammering down Genesis. And already, Genesis Esports is experiencing the most amount of pain they ever have. And Pain is live in the final few moments. He will put that nail in the coffin. Solid way to eliminate one of the teams. And of course, an emote. The salt on top of the wounds. Why would you not do it? Of course you love to see it.
My goodness. That's just what you get eventually after the drop clash. I mean, they've got the animated skins as well. Might as well just show some emotes and show some moves out here.
I freaking love it.
Absolutely do. Another thing that's happening on the other side, Reckoning Esports now. Trying to fire onto the members of Godlike, but they're just too far out in the fray now. They won the fight against 8-bit. Only Somraj remaining. And then they decided to move away from the classic boot camp and maybe move on the outskirts. But I'm not quite sure where they would want to go after this.
Yeah, and Reckoning Esports, since they have managed to acquire that one elimination point, they actually do look okay. All the way towards boot camp, and the zone is actually shifting towards the left side. You never know if it's going to be taking a curveball shift up north or down south. Maintaining that anonymous aura once again, and this is why I love the map of Sanhok. So unpredictable. Hero Extreme Godlike now falling prey to the players of Mad Kings, and Mad Kings perfectly played from them as well. The DMR in the long ranges. It's inflicting a lot of hurt and damage.
They don't have health.
Yeah, they do not really have any first aids available. And that's why Hero Extreme Godlike is moving away from that bootcamp vicinity in the search of a few more better meds. But Reckoning Esports, they're on the tail. They're on the chase. They want to stop the players of Hero Extreme Godlike escaping from bootcamp. But they've already done so perfectly.
Punk and Admino, they're not going to be in this fight. So Reckoning, they will have a massive advantage. And it's only one vehicle that they can eventually carry.
Look at the snakes.
This is the thing, right? The map of Sanhok has always been the land of snakes. Hissing around on every other corner. So even if you're Reckoning, you can't really chase them out instantly. You've got to be careful about that. And you can't really give up onto bootcamp entirely because there's a lot of third parties that will eventually wait for you. YG lost Hermanos as well. They're just down south of that place. But eventually want to move forward up north. Close to them, Global Esports are also now taking their route over towards Ruins. They're all, again, in towards that off-center position. I'm not quite sure if they would really want to take those early fights. Patience.
Global Esports. Speak of patience, this is another one of those teams that has been playing with a lot of patience. But hopefully, they don't end up falling prey. Team Aryan around the Ruins side. They've got a solid spot they're holding. But unfortunately for Reckoning Esports, that one man from 8-bit who was split out, he strikes. And this time that poisonous strike, it's actually making sure that Reckoning Esports will pay for all the sins they've committed in this game. And Somraj is making it rip. He's making it hurt. 19 bullets in the magazine. Maybe go for a fresh one. That's going to help you a bit more. And Reckoning Esports, they're in such an awkward spot, stuck. They cannot even go for the rescue operation because they've got no vehicles. And the Snade will seal the deal. That's 8-bit getting the confirmation on the elimination point.
Now they'll get to know that where that one last lone remaining member of 8-bit is. And also Reckoning. Losing their own IGL out here right now. Not the best thing, but hopefully the rest of the players, they're going to get some more frequent calls because as an IGL now he'll have a lot more information to work around with.
True that.
A little bit free hand though, but there's a big cluster forming in around bootcamp. There's quite a lot of teams and I'm not quite sure if you would want to be in the vicinity of that part.
I mean, 3 proper teams if you think about it. Reckoning Esports, Hero Extreme Godlike, and Los Hermanos. Somraj is a lonesome survivor. Highly doubt he can do a lot of damage in this given circumstance. But yeah, 3 teams next to each other. Definitely a trifecta of death that's forming up. But as of now, look at the Esports. They're dropping down bodies left, right, center. Smoker 46 gets knocked out. The man's trying to back away to safety, but it's already too late. He gets caught. Look at the Esports. It's such an awkward terrain. And now surviving from this spot seems impossible. Global Esports, they want to put in a bit more of that hurt against Likitha Esports. The line of sights are being formed as well. But Global Esports at this moment still lacking on a proper information. They do not have the pinpoint information on where exactly Likitha Esports is positioned currently.
There's also Victor Sumus close by. If this fight's prolonged, then they will go in for the third parties. That could be a bit of a problem for their side as well. And the same is being faced by Godlike right now. 40R, they're hunting them down. They're destroying them from behind. A team that moved there from Paradise Resort after winning against Genesis. They're the kings who never bow down to anyone.
The zone actually takes a curveballing shift down south. That means everyone now on the opposite islands will now need to move in, be it towards Boot Camp, be it towards Camp Alpha Island. Everyone needs to make a quick rotation down south. And K9 Esports, they might just face the brunt soon. There's Team Aryan on the opposite side. Things will not look good and dandy at all. They have to go for the fight no matter what. And K9 Esports, the only possible rotations are next to Match Kings and Team Aryan. So they will have to go for the fight no matter what.
But they can decide to go all the way up from the northern bridge down south of Hotten. If they really want to make a mad dash out of there, that's going to be one way. That requires you to give the nastiest call as an IGL though, but I'm pretty sure they'll first have to deal with the members of FS. Just way too close to Beast. Phoenix as well. They're moving in the exact same bootcamp vicinity, and holy smokes, this cluster is looking colorful than ever.
It indeed is. INF God drops down. The man's taken away to his death, but even Victor Sumus, they start to face the bright True Rippers. Perfectly pushed and executed. Victor Sumus, now the remaining players, they're going to be on the run. Do not want to face the players of True Rippers and their wrath. And Victor Sumus will try to play it from the centric area, which makes a lot of sense. That's how they like to play, and that's how Victor Sumus has been playing since the start of the BGMS Season 4. Extremely passive. And maybe that's one of the main reasons why Victor Sumus has still not breached in the top 12. And remember, as I mentioned, Victor Sumus is constantly jumping between the 15th and the 13th spot. That's where they have been. We're not seeing any improvement. It's just a stagnant pace that Victor Sumus is stuck with.
Got a couple of big games in their name, but have been big in terms of placement. Not really in terms of finishes. Not really being able to utilize those early power plays, bounties. So they have been on that struggling end as well. True Rippers though on the other side. Now they really look like to be eager in taking those fights. Maji lost Hermanos. Yesterday was an absolute banger day for them, but today the start is not really that great. Losing Kalan all the way out in the open right now, and one of their members pretty low as well, but a good answer coming in from Shadow. Maybe that could ease things out.
Hero Extreme Godlike in a bit of a trouble as Admino as well gets taken down. God. It was perfectly played from the foes and 4TR. Man, this team's on a tear. What am I watching from 4TR? Eliminating teams left, right, and center. At the start, eliminated some of the best teams out there, and now, in the end, taking down Hero Extreme Godlike. And what a play that was as well. The micro plays, the team coordination's perfect in the firefights. Tossing out a flashbang to isolate that duel, and then later on turning towards Admino. Man, what are these plays from 4TR?
I love the fact how there's been a humongous change in terms of those utilities as well. Previously, long back, we used to see a lot of smokes, mollies, and frags, right? We rarely used to see those flashbangs. But they've kind of become the integral part of the execute now. And it's one player throwing out the flash, second one capitalizing on the back of it.
Oh no, they're done.
Oh, beautiful. Victor Sumus, they're out. They're not really making it. The second player is, yeah, you've got blue right behind you.
It's 4TR. And 4TR, there's no way the players are going to make it out alive now.
My question is, why are they either ways going on the Camp Alpha Island?
That's a good question, actually, since the zone is not even towards Camp Alpha, but maybe 4TR had some different moves in the mind. Maybe they wanted to pull off some different shenanigans. But 4TR, they've already done enough for the game, right? They eliminated Genesis Esports. That's like, what, 8 points right there? One more elimination point in the bounty, and one more elimination point in the power play system itself. That's 10 points, and then eliminating the 2 players. That's a lot of points. 12 points in total by the players of 4TR, and they eventually do get eliminated. But K9, now they need to tackle this hurdle, and that hurdle is in the name of Phoenix Esports. Phoenix Esports, they've already lost out on one of the players, but K9 Esports, for them, the problem is still they're existing in front. And Phoenix eventually will drop dead. It's beautifully played by Beast in the final few moments.
And he has been the main man for success for K9. He's always been standing up. He was the one who was in the TVS Raider most wicked players list as well. In that top 10, we have seen his name a few times. But no one else apart from him. And finally, this looked like one of the well-coordinated fights from Phoenix Esports. Moving in tandem together, one player providing the cover from the back lines.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the players moving in.
I know, right?
But the big problem is, where do they barge in the circle from?
That's a good question. Things perfectly falling into place, but for K9 Esports, breaching in is now going to be a big question, and this is what I was pointing out from the start, right? K9 Esports, yes, they dropped in towards Camp Alpha Island, but soon they will need to either take a fight against Team Aryan or Mad Kings. But taking a fight against Mad Kings is not going to be a good choice because you've already got FS Esports around that terrain, which will just be even worse. Unless if you third party perfectly, then maybe things can be better. But still, it is filled with a lot of risks since you will be so exposed.
There's going to be a lot of risks, I agree now, but they're driving their vehicles all the way. That is a mad dash, and it's the most risky dash you could think about.
Oh no, for K9 Esports, things might just fall apart now. Devotee is behind the rock with a shotgun in the hand, and still Devotee's doing a perfect job in holding off the players. The man gets shipped up extremely low, and that will be a knockout punch delivered to Devotee. Team Aryan in a big wall of trouble. They've already lost the ground.
Still gonna try and survive out there. FS as well, they're taking some shots on the two members who are still remaining on the other side. It's Beast, Omega, and Ninja Boy remaining. Slug has been taken out. It's a trifecta right now working out. Omega answering back to Roman 2 on the other side. Lavish is going to be right next to him, so the revival will come in handy. But Henry is going to try and focus down on the man up in front. But the nade is perfect from Omega.
Okay, the fight's understandable, but look at the zone. Oh my god. It just screwed everyone up. And the zone was like, yeah, you know what? You guys are fighting for Ruins area. I'm just going to shift towards boot camp this time. And everyone is pissed. A lot of these teams, actually majority of the teams, fought from that boot camp site to move towards Ruins. And now once again, they probably will need to move back towards boot camp. Mind games by the zone.
More fighting.
Yep, that's why I love Sanhok, baby.
Reckoning are going to be pretty happy about that. Their entire side is super empty.
I know, right? Reckoning Esports can just hold it down for days. They've got compounds. They pretty much have the edge lines as well. Just make sure you're not getting backstabbed. For Reckoning Esports, this can be a day with destiny. And if the next zone shifts towards Reckoning, oh my god, the icing on top of the cake. And this should be Reckoning Esports this game. If they still mess up, well, Reckoning Esports do not deserve to be in the top 12. Yes, I said it.
I mean, I kind of agree. But I trust these players. Right now, Mad Kings, after dealing away with everything that happened on the side of FS, they're going to be moving back in. The fun fact is that it's FS that gets eliminated so quickly. Yeah. And the entire control that Team Aryan was maintaining, now they're going to have to fight against True Rippers to try and move back in.
So many teams got eliminated within that burst. K9 Esports, FS Esports, and all thanks to Aryan and Mad Kings around that vicinity. But this can also be a good game for the players of True Rippers if they do manage to wipe out the entirety of Mad Kings. Which might just be too much to ask for, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And at this point, Team Aryan.
Wow.
Oh my god, what is this mad rotation from Team Aryan? Not scared of anyone, driving between the foes, and eventually they get absolutely blasted by the bullets.
Not quite sure what they were trying to pull, but yeah, you're not
Look,
Dominic
they did not
Toretto.
really have a lot of option either. So they were like, you know what, man, let's just book it for the best.
That, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now, it's True Rippers who are now trying to barge in. Mad Kings, they are probably the best security guards out there, being the gatekeepers against every single one of those teams. They've already lost one of their members as well, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. But still, 3 men standing out strong as True Rippers. They're also dealing with a man down.
I like the fact that True Rippers are thinking quick, and they realize the fact that they need to go for a fight against Mad Kings if they want to stand a chance to win the game. And oh my god, the zone! It's actually favoring Reckoning Esports! This is a day with destiny. This has to be Reckoning Esports' game. They've got all the advantage. Camp the bridge. Stop from teams from moving towards that boot camp island. They need to stop the teams from moving towards the right no matter what. Just stop them. That's all Reckoning Esports needs to do. Just camp the bridge and camp the edge lines. Splitting is going to be your best friend. Every man for himself, but for now, Likitha Esports. Even they've been eliminated. That's going to be the nail in the coffin from Victorious Sumus. Still a shaky game, you cannot take it away, but they have managed to survive till the top 8. This position's not enough. Victorious Sumus needs a lot more points.
3 finishes, man. They need at least second position right now, or at least a few more finishes before they get eliminated.
Oh my god. Reckoning Esports is not taking any charge. What is Reckoning Esports doing? Come on, spread yourself out, Reckoning.
You know what? I absolutely love what Middle decided out here. Rotated directly from the Pinance compounds, and now they are on the way towards that bootcamp island. They're controlling that entire space. And MyG Los Hermanos are going to decide to hold down that bridge.
Oh my god. If Reckoning Esports do not move up and get that proactive control, the game will slip away from their hands. There's no way. Reckoning Esports should at least play for information. Send someone out there who is driving constantly. Look at that cluster. Aimbot. He spots out the players of Global Esports, but Global Esports, man, even they have taken a lot of that hurt upon themselves. Eventually, True Rippers get eliminated from the game by the hands of Global Esports, but there's also Victorious Sumus' Cheyenne still alive in the nearby vicinity.
Yeah.
Middle Esports, they're playing this so well, inflicting a lot of hurt. Another man gets knocked out from MyG Los Hermanos, Colin. He's not there in the game anymore, and that's why MyG Los Hermanos is now struggling. Evil in the back needs to go for that revival. Now the man needs to play the support role. But as I mentioned, Reckoning Esports is still not being proactive. Come on, Reckoning. You need to spread yourself out. It's already too late. No, Reckoning Esports are playing like scared little rats.
All the way just up on top right now. You've got Mad Kings to hold on to, while the rest of the teams on South will take claim of that space. As for now, it's going to be a straightforward push-out Middle, deciding to delete MyG, and they will be able to do so. Few shots being fired on the other side though, as Cheyenne wants to be the spoiler. Still wants to try and catch in a few lone stranglers out there, maybe confirm a few eliminations. But I'm not quite sure how much can he do from this position, considering the vehicles blew up and now there's some hard covers as well.
Can be Middle Esports game, honestly, since Reckoning Esports are playing so scared.
Could be Global Esports maybe pulling some weird shenanigans.
No, Global Esports, given the position they've got, there's no way Global Esports makes it out alive from that bridge. They're too exposed. The moment they move out to actually cross on towards the opposite island, Global Esports will be exposed to a lot of threat.
I agree.
I believe it is Middle Esports' game or either Mad Kings. Reckoning Esports could have played it better, but Reckoning Esports is just not proactive enough. They're too scared. They need to stop being little rats.
I wanted them to take control as well. It seems like their entire potential is being held by the lack of confidence. That's probably only it right now.
Yeah. Mad Kings as well, done and dusted.
Still 2 more players remaining out here. They can eventually spoil a few things for Reckoning. But they're still just holding on to that high ground. They're not giving up that space at all. And it's not giving them a lot of information, I'll be honest.
Reckoning Esports, as you mentioned, right, they do have the higher ground, but the main issue is all the other teams are now penetrating in that main island. And that is the concern. If Middle Esports actually does spread their wings, that's going to be a real big problem. And Reckoning Esports had a chance to stop the players of Middle Esports if they would have spread themselves out well.
I agree. Now they're deciding to do that as Flock moves in towards the circle itself. Adi has been knocked out up on top. Bit of a problem coming in. Confirmation on clutch card flows as well. So that's a back and forth coming in though. Mad Kings being eliminated out from the fray. They will bleed out as well. No one to save the life of the man, as Troy is the only man who remains. Cheyenne as well left as the lone strangler. It's going to fall down to a 3v3 again. Reckoning have got the best chance to convert this.
Yeah,
and
now they do.
Finally, they decide to spread out.
Reckoning Esports finally now taking control of the zone as they realize there is no one really in the close proximity. The only possible problem is going to be the players of Middle Esports themselves. And look at that positioning from Venom. On top of the bridge, the man's waiting patiently until it is tossed down. Oh my god, that got real up close. Troy, he's going to patch himself up. Perfectly played. And
wow.
And now the fact that Troy, he's still somehow making it alive around that bridge side.
Look at the circle.
That is a constant threat for the players of Metal Esports. And in my opinion, Metal Esports should not even be bothered by Troy. They should just let Troy get taken down by the players of Reckoning. This is what I'm talking about. Metal Esports is supposed to focus inside of the circle, but there's Cheyenne, a shark in the water that lies deep underneath. And he can strike anytime. Cheyenne's position, it's not noticed, but now it finally is. As Cheyenne, he destroys Metal Esports. A nade is going to shut down Cheyenne and his shenanigans, but Reckoning Esports, they've already got a massive advantage.
They've got everything right now. The circle, the numbers, and the blue as well in their favor as Metal will fall. Nothing to heal them. It's just the points that will flow for Reckoning. Maybe a few that could be claimed on the other side, but nothing apart from that. A chicken served on a silver platter.
Reckoning Esports extremely lucky with that zone shift. And if you guys remember, the first ever chicken dinner that Reckoning Esports had was also on the map of Sanhok. And now the second chicken dinner is also on the map of Sanhok. And is it a moment that you should celebrate? In my opinion, absolutely not. The game was served to you on a silver platter. And once again, when the situation called for it, you should have spread yourself out. Yes, you did get the chicken dinner, but at the end of the day, this chicken dinner was literally put on a plate for you guys.
They could have at least got a 10 eliminations bare minimum out of that. Maybe even more than that. Right? I was looking at probably 12, 13, 14, 15 elims for them. Because there was no one on their island. Every compound was empty. And even after all of that, Reckoning, they just decided to hold that high ground on top of the hill. Not really do anything. Big problems coming in for their side.
I mean, you can tell by Reckoning Esports and their faces, they're not really happy with this chicken dinner, right? They've got a lot of things they want to discuss, and Reckoning Esports, yes, even if a chicken dinner and a zone is served to you, just try and make the most out of it, man. Go for the elimination points. Try and squeeze out the maximum, but that's not what Reckoning Esports did. Instead, they played it extremely passive. But for now, let's move on to the stage for a quick little interview, and let's see what the players have got to say.
Congratulations to Reckoning. आपने अपना तीसरा चिकन डिनर निकाला है इन द मास्टर्स. आप लोग पॉइंट्स टेबल लीडर बोर्ड के गराज में फंसे हुए हैं. गाड़ी बाहर निकल रही थी. I'm sure that this is going to be a relief. What's been going wrong?
मतलब अभी थोड़ा सा सिंक नहीं बैठ रहा है हमारा, तो ये पॉइंट सिस्टम के हिसाब से थोड़ा सा हम अडेप्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. और धीरे धीरे करके ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि ये नई टीम भी है, तो उसके साथ हम अडेप्ट कर लें.
Listen, you're always known as late bloomers, लेकिन now you're finally coming to the party. तो अब टारगेट क्या है? आप सेमीज खेलोगे या प्लेऑफ्स?
वो तो जो होगा देखा जाएगा, क्योंकि अभी तो हम अपना मतलब फ्लो फिक्स कर रहे हैं. अगर फ्लो अच्छा बना, क्या पता सेमीज में दिख जाए. अभी
यार कभी कभी ऑल यू नीड इज वन स्पार्क, जहां पे सब कुछ आप बदल सकते हैं. Is this the moment of inspiration for you guys, a motivation for you guys, जहां आपको लगता है now you can make a run for it?
डेफिनेटली, क्योंकि सारे बंदे हमारे स्टेप अप कर रहे हैं, तो ये हो सकता है कि यही अब ऊपर ही जाए.
यार जैविन कहाँ से ढूंढ के निकाला इनको, क्योंकि ये बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं.
जैविन भाई तो पल की परवरिश है.
Anything else you want to tell us about him?
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर है, राइजिंग स्टार है. अब सब देख ही रहे हैं, मैं क्या बताऊं.
Done. Actions speak louder than words. Congratulations to Reckoning. निकाला एक चिकन डिनर after a while. इनका तीसरा भी. Take a break and come back for the final game.
Cheat code, bro.
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
Alright,
right, class. For today's lesson...
I already taught her something.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Radar, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Man, what a beginning coming in from that entire game, right? We were not really expecting all of that to be served to Reckoning, but let's be brutally honest, dude. Like, if there were 10 things up on their plate, they only picked up one.
Yeah, at Reckoning Esports, as you mentioned, right, if there were a lot of options, Reckoning Esports still, for some reason, did not really spread out and go for those elimination points, right?
Exactly.
This chicken dinner could have been much more glorious, but still, for some reason, Reckoning Esports played it extremely back, played it extremely passive, and hey, if you guys are wondering what exactly these players and athletes are playing on, well, they're playing on the OnePlus 13. I'd recommend you guys to check it out. Of course, some of the best BGMI gaming experience will be offered by this device.
Absolutely. Picture-perfect device as well, so you might not want to miss out on that action too. But now, coming back onto that game itself, let's be honest, Middle Esports played phenomenal in that previous one too, considering the situation that was offered to them, not really having the circle at all, being on the opposite side of the island, finding their perfect time, picking off MyG Los Hermanos, who were camping that bridge to stop anyone from rotating, finishing them off, and then also taking care of some of the stranglers from GE. I think so that was a very good game for Middle.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Speaking about a good game, even for Thunder, or Cheyenne actually, he did quite a decent job for his teammates, right? Cheyenne pushed up, pretty much eliminated a few players of Middle Esports. He was the one who put that spanner in the works for Middle Esports, or else there was a big chance that even Middle Esports could have ran through with a chicken dinner. But for now, the MVP of that previous game is going to be Adi07 from the side of Global Esports. And of course, Adi, he's someone who's been there, a part of this banner for a decent time now with 5 finishes. Then you've also got Venom from Middle Esports with 2 rescues being the companion, and Max from Reckoning Esports with 4 finishes being the finisher. As I mentioned, for Reckoning Esports, this game could have been much bigger, only if they would have taken the advantage of the zone, spread themselves out, and go for the elimination points that were lying out in the open.
I mean, there were so many things that happened all the way out there as well, right? There were Mad Kings as well who tried to barge in from the north, that too through the waters. I think so those were a few elimination points that could have been grabbed by Reckoning. Then there were teams who were barging in from the south as well, and still a lot of those teams that were having their major fights on that western island towards the ruins. I think so that was the main highlight of this entire game though. But again, this was an absolute beauty from 4TR, destroying Godlike out here with that flash.
Exactly, 4TR was on an absolute rip with the way they started things off, eliminated the players of Genesis Esports, later on got a few more elimination points, eliminated Godlike too. We also did see K9 Esports against Phoenix, and Phoenix Esports, they did not even stand a single chance. For K9 to pull off that rotation was impossible. Middle Esports, this spread from them was immaculate, realizing what they exactly needed to do. Middle Esports spread themselves out. Bashan, this man from Victoria Sumus, he put up a massive spanner in the works.
He made sure that Middle were eventually taken down to at least 2 men down there when Reckoning had to fight them, and then it lowered down even further when a couple of players were knocked out. You could see the disappointments happening in, but that's what the Stranglers do to you, ladies and gentlemen. Having a look at the match rankings for the previous one now, Reckoning will still have 19 points. I know that this could have been maybe increased further to somewhere around 25, 26 as well, but it's absolutely fine. Still, it's going to give them a little bit of a momentum though, but this chicken was served to them. It's not going to happen in the future games.
19 total points, and then you've got 4TR right there with 12. Global Esports coming in with 12 as well. Metal Esports with 10. K9 Esports with 9. Victor Sumus with 9 too. So the top 6 had quite a decent performance. Even Victor Sumus went away with 9 elimination points.
Yes.
And it's all because of that one-man Jahan. Those 9 total points helped him quite a bit, and Jahan was able to secure that top 3 position. The latter half is on the screen. 8-bit, they're having a bit of that struggle today since they're not really playing with all the 4 players in the lobby. Team Aryan, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with them, but they're of course making a lot of those rookie mistakes. We did see Genesis Esports off the rip get eliminated, and even for Genesis Esports, yeah, we have seen a clear degrade in their performance.
It's basically like, yeah, they do one game decent, and then the second one they kind of feel lost. They only have one more chance to try and barge into that top 4. Yeah, they're just a few points away, 6 if you'd really think about it, to try and dethrone God's Reign out from there. And it's Hero Extreme Godlike, who are a bit far back with 430 points. NoNx medal, yes, they're all in top 8. And then it's going to be 8-bit, again falling all the way far back now. I mean, 7 of these 8 teams out of here, they have still one more game to play, so it's going to be fun.
Godlike's played 3 games so far, and still the performance, it's not too good.
Yep.
And they're on that same 7th spot in the overall standings. It's not something you expect from a banner like Hero Extreme Godlike, right? It's another one of those teams the performance has been degrading over time. I do understand maintaining a consistency for around 21 days is quite tough. We've still got a few more days to go for 21 days to be completed and the league stage to be completed. But still, with the way we have seen Hero Extreme Godlike slip down in the overall standings, that is definitely a little bit concerning. But something that is not going to concern you guys is the offer that's currently there on Swiggy. We know you guys can get your hands on burger for just 99 rupees, that too with free delivery. What are you waiting for? Just go ahead towards Swiggy and grab it right now.
You'll have the QR code as well pretty soon out there. So you want to scan that out and order some free delivery burgers out there for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I know you want some time for that, so we're going to give you exactly that time as we head out for a short break.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to Battlegrounds?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Back again for one last time, one last chance for these teams to try and barge into the top 4 or end up at the position where they dreamt of ending up today, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the OnePlus Android BGMS Master Series Season 4. It's the last game of Erangel as we've got the teams up on our screens right now fighting for one last glory.
I know, right? All of the moments that we've seen throughout the day, NoNx dominating, getting a hat-trick. And that is the first ever hat-trick in the BGMS Season 4. Then we also did see Reckoning Esports finally make a bit of that bounce back in the overall standings, but we know a bit is not enough. Reckoning Esports, they need to go for the bounty points, they need to go for the power play points, and still for some reason, Reckoning Esports is not learning. We did have a talk with the IGL himself a while ago, and he mentioned that they are having a bit of those issues with adjusting towards the tournament format, but I don't see you guys adjusting at all. I don't see you guys going for those proper fights.
That's the big thing, right? Most of the teams have realized that you've got to brute force your way through the early game. You've got to win some fights. You have to win those points. And only after that can you fall back onto your same defensive pattern. But none of that has happened for that team right now. And yeah, I can still see those struggles. The adjustment is yet to be found out right now. Same could be said for the likes of Godlike.
Yeah. And for Hero Extreme Godlike, let's hope that this game's going to be good. They've played 3 games so far. We have not seen any sort of improvement. They're stable, yes, understandable. But being stable is not a good thing, especially if you're someone who's in the top 8. You need to put up those outstanding performances if you want to elevate yourself in the top 4. And then only you can directly move on towards the grand finals. But maybe Hero Extreme Godlike has got a different plan. Maybe they want to play the semifinals. You never know what's cooking up in the mind of the IGL Punk. But as we do see the plane hitting the skies once again, starting all the way from Yasna Poliana towards the opposite side, which is Primorsk, this plane flat path, it's quite forgiving, just like the first Erangel.
You can go to wherever you really want to, unless you're a Zarki fan.
This is pretty much the same plane flat path that we saw in the first game. Yeah. Instead, it was starting all the way from Primorsk towards Kameshki.
It's like just the opposite way this time around.
Yeah.
Teams would want to drop in towards Stolber, Severny, Libovka. They'll have an early exit out here. Depends on where the circle is going to form, and then we'll see their rotations coming into the fray as well. Hopefully, some of those early drop clashes, which we both are really big fans of, maybe they're going to come into fruition. No OG, no God's Rain. So no one to go all the way down towards military base. No is going to be free. But it's kind of out of range, so I'm not quite sure if we'll see true rippers going out there. Maybe they're going to still stick to just the military base, since, as we said, no God's Rain. They might have a chance.
They of course will. And as of now, for Hero Extreme Godlike,
wow,
they're taking an exit all the way towards Primorsk. It's quite interesting. It's not where you see Hero Extreme Godlike take an exit that often. It's a rare drop spot for the players, and maybe this time Hero Extreme Godlike are thirsty for the elimination points, and you would love to see some early game action from this team. Dropping towards Primorsk and Crore. I guess the research is now really coming into play. Since Hero Extreme Godlike knows there's no NINZA playing and there's no Marcos Gaming playing in these lobbies, they can actually go ahead and contest this vicinity. And that's why that versatile drop sometimes can help you out quite a bit. But also that means that Hero Extreme Godlike will not be partaking in the early game chaos.
Since the circle is on them, they wouldn't have to go in for any kind of rotation as well, so no clashes happening out there too. Reckoning seem to be in a different idea right now. We'll have to see how they're going to pan their own way.
Yeah.
Because there's K9 up north of them, there's 40R down south of them. They've still got some empty space around Georgopol City, maybe towards Zarki if they really want to go and rotate, but they'll have to make it quick because the circle is all the way down south.
You've also got Global Esports next to Team Aryan. And that is a little bit problematic for Global Esports. Erangels for Global Esports have been extremely good. And we have seen an example of that. And maybe this time around as well in the final game, it would be the best possible way to end things. Global Esports can actually finish it off with a chicken dinner with a massive shebang. Likitha Esports, all the 4 players around that Gotka vicinity. Mad Kings towards Hospital. You've got 8-bit around that ruin side as well. No one going for the early game chaos this time, and it's kind of weird. This does not feel like a BGMS Season 4 lobby at all.
That's the second time I've heard you say that with me on the desk. Maybe we might see some action between Aryan and Global Esports. They're pretty close by to each other since there's no OG. So we might possibly see them have that collision. There's no Soul as well, which really likes to drop around those school and apartments area. I would really want to see Aryan in some early game action, man. This team has been missing for such a long time.
8-bit. With all the 4 players in this game, and I like to see it. 8-bit seems ready and primed for this game. They've also got a solid spot, actually, to kick things off with. And look at True Rippers drop it all the way towards military base. Now, that's a little bit weird from True Rippers. But hey, an important announcement for you guys. You guys can watch the BGMS 2025 with the multicam feature for the first time only on Geo Hotstar. You guys can watch the POV of Revenant, X-Park, Hero Extreme, Godlike, Genesis Esports, Metal Esports. And I hate to break it to you guys that Revenant X-Park's POV is not live anymore since they are not a part of this entire lobby.
They're the part of the bravest group. That's Group B.
Yeah.
One of the strongest that's there. Because look at Group A and C, man. And I'll say it right here, right now. The topmost team of Group A is Genesis on the 5th spot.
I mean, what are you talking about? Look, Genesis Esports is a solid team.
It is.
Esports is a solid team. 8-Bit's a solid team. Hero Extreme Godlike is a solid team.
They're not
Global
in the top 4.
Esports is a solid team.
They're not in the top 4.
What else do you want? On paper, I still believe the fact that the groups are balanced. Maybe Group A is not balanced if you really talk about it. Because Reckoning Esports is not doing good. Their form is completely absent. Likitha Esports, the same thing can be said for them. Los Hermanos, they sometimes activate themselves. Sometimes they get deactivated themselves. Victor Sumus, we know at the start of the game they're not even in the lobby. But then later on in the final few moments we see them. Metal Esports, even they're kind of an on and off. True Rippers, we do see that burst of good performances here and there. Team Aryan, even they're not available at the start of the lobby. And FS Esports, they're all the way down at the bottom. So, yeah, Group A, everyone is not doing good.
Collectively, just mentioning the same thing. This is the reason why I've always mentioned that Group B and C are the main competitions out here. Based on the performances that they're putting up. Again, not my words, the statistics is what that says. That right now, Yash will have to move all the way back to safety right now. Finally, still chasing down Phoenix. He's got to stay alive. Nice trade-off coming in. Stopping the vehicle near his teammate just to make sure they've got extra firepower.
Oh, Genesis Esports, they can actually easily win this fight. And that's what they're doing. They've already found the first knock. The conversion as well instantly happens. Urchin and Jatin in the back lines, and Phoenix Esports, now they want to play collectively. Now they want to play with the proper coordination. But I'm still not a big fan of what's going on. Genesis! You could have actually messed things up, but no, still things under control. And Genesis Esports, they somehow are hammering down the players of Phoenix Esports. Ash and Archit backing away. What happened to Phoenix? Where is that coordination that's clearly missing? And the crazy part is they have lost out on Jatin and Godin, the only two players who were making any sort of impact for Phoenix Esports.
At this point, there's absolutely nothing that they can do. And if anything, Genesis would want to try and go for this chase, and they are doing absolutely that. Just hammering down Archit and Ash. There's nothing that you can do apart from just stand your ground and try and survive Gravity. I know your name is Gravity, but not like you can control it.
So once again, back towards the group conversation, right?
Okay.
So in Group A, only True Rippers and Metal Esports are the one to actually do really good.
Yeah.
And maybe LHS too, based on the standing. But LHS is such an on and off. You never know, man. I mean, LHS is such an on and off. It's still a big question mark.
It's like they're performing on one day and then they're absent on the very next day. Just like what's happening today.
So it's just the three teams that are actually really doing good and performing. The remaining names, the crazy part is they're all the way on the last page. That is insane, right? That's like what? At least 6 teams who are a part of the latter half? Which is insane from one single group.
In top 15, there are only 3 teams from Group A.
It's actually 5 teams.
15.
Wow.
So that's 5 teams down all the way on the bottom.
Insane. Insane. And who would have thought we're actually going to sit here and talk about group calculations now?
That's what.
But honestly, that was kind of fun.
I know, right? It's a new POE.
It was kind of like a report card that we're presenting based on the groups. And yeah, we pretty much just threw the facts out there. For the fans that are hurt, it is what it is.
It's just the truth right now. Oh my goodness, who would have thought that the circle would take such a curveball shift? You thought you were a fan of Sanhok circles? Make yourself at home.
Stage 2 is always a curveball shift.
I mean, half of it was in the military base island.
I know, right? Shifting all the way towards Pochinki and 8-Bit, they might just be back in form. They might have just sprung back to life. But let's see how 8-Bit's going to play this one. There's still a big question mark. You never know. Team Aryan, Still around that Puchinki vicinity, you've got Mad Kings as well now breaching in from the top left. K9 Esports moving in from the top side. And knowing K9 Esports, they're definitely going to go for that church vicinity. That has to be Omega's thinking. I've been watching this guy for such a long time, and Omega has to go for that church.
The question is, can they convert the game from there? Because they eventually end up being in a position where they're just knocked out from left, right, and center right now. And we're talking about getting knocked out. Medal Esports Termi down on his feet. Being caught out there far and wide in open fray. You've got so many teams up close to you. You do not want to be here. Confirmation flows as well as Venom falls too. It's Team Arian who are now taking them down. You talk about the teams from Group A and the struggle continues.
Oh my god. Medal Esports with only a 2-man squad. Even they're now starting to face the brunt, and last man also falls down. K9 Esports, some light work. And Team Arian, even they were here to reap the shreds. But since the shreds are already collected by K9 Esports, now Team Arian, they will need to start ripping through another team. Go for the elimination points, start claiming them. Team Arian as well, playing from the off-centric part. They actually do have quite a decent positioning as well, but Phoenix Esports, now they themselves are getting stopped and ripped apart.
Wow.
Just one man standing for Phoenix Esports, and I highly doubt Archith himself can do anything. And once again, Ash, I don't know, man. What is Ash doing? Like, come on, Ash. You've got such a great legacy. You are such a great player. You talk about this man's history, it's stacked with good performances. It's stacked with a lot of good memories. And then you're playing like this in the present. This is disappointing.
Not just in one tournament, man. This is the second one which we are actually witnessing.
He did the same thing in the officials as well, and now the same thing happening over here.
Back to back.
Concerning. It's honestly concerning. Ash, if you do not start doing anything, I can already see the days for you, man.
It's a big problem, I'd have to say. You've got to bring yourself back into the form which you were known for the Prime. Okay, you talk about Prime Admin showing exactly that right now, but maybe he could have bit in a bit more than what he could chew right now, firing a few more shots. And if God really needed to land that knock, as long as you don't knock this man, even the shotgun pump will destroy you.
Yeah.
And they've just decided to give up on Morty.
Yeah, Morty, there's no way the man's going to be back up on his feet, so it's fine. It's understandable. They've still got Pain, Iron of God, and Z-God. And these three players are absolutely insane. Specifically Pain. The amount of impact this man has been having inside of the 4TR banner, it's crazy. And just like Godin, Pain is live as well as another one of those goated players that rarely loses a duel.
What if they both duel?
That would be insane. Honestly, it would be absolute cinema.
I agree.
I'd really want to see Pain is live and Godin go against some of the most famous players out there.
They've been going and they've been winning. What if we make a squad of all these players, right? Pain is live, Goten, legit.
But that's the thing. Star players put together, this might just be an absolute disaster. But hold on to that thought. Reckoning Esports, they push up. Max is, of course, the casualty, but it's fine. Look at Flock and the confidence this man has got.
It's a big play coming in as well. Up all the way towards the northwestern fray. Answering back instantly, Reckoning. This is the form that we wanted to see this team in. MyG lost Hermanos right now, facing certain struggles. Victor's Sumus on the other side. Bombarding them with the nades now, and they've got the high ground. They've got the angles as well. They've got to close in the distance, though, slowly and steadily, as these smokes will provide them.
Oh my god, that nade!
But what a nade coming in from Mafia!
Oh my god, that was absolutely insane! Precise! That was like a heat-seeking missile. Right next to him, it blasted. And MyG lost Hermanos this game as well. It's going to blast out of their hands. Victorious Sumus, what a way to convert the fight. Two players already ripped to shreds. There's two more players standing in the front. The revival successful for MyG lost Hermanos. But I don't think this game is going to be that successful now. And Victorious Sumus, they have to realize that there is someone inside of the smoke. Start spamming. That is going to be your best friend, and that's what they exactly do. Cheyenne, what a spot that was. Oh my god. A great find. Hit markers helping the man a big time, and now Kalan, he's going to make the great escape, and he somehow escapes.
Right from under their noses. I was about to say that this fight needs to conclude soon. FS were in the fray as well.
Oh, maybe he's not going to be able to escape. Now the man's out in the open. He's such in an awkward spot.
At least there's no one down south of him. Never mind, I said that. Just gets confirmed instantly. That's going to be my loss Hermanos eliminated out of here as well. It's mostly the Group A teams fighting amongst themselves if you really look at it. Sumus against my loss Hermanos. Then we saw Aryan taking down the members of Medal. So it's like the same group teams fighting against each other. Another curveball shift coming in for this circle now. The entire urban areas of Pochinki, you've got to say bye-bye to them. The church is still going to remain in the circle though, but my question is for how long would you want to hold down that position?
Aryan's got a great spread. They can actually convert this game in a great fashion. Let's see if that's going to come through or not. All the four players next to each other. True Rippers now breaching in from the edge lines. And for True Rippers as well, this will not be a tough breach at all. They should be easily able to cross on. Reckoning Esports towards the northern side. 4TR right underneath Reckoning Esports. Hero Extreme Godlike crossing around that northern side. And the fact that Genesis Esports is still alive, that's a really good news.
My main focus is going to be on these Eastern Frays. Because you've got most of these teams out there. You can look at 8-Bit, you can look at Global Esports. You can also see Genesis. All the way out here, so it's gonna get pretty chaotic, I'll have to say. And you've got to clear all of that out very quickly. Because once the blue starts to make a move, it's already stage 4. It's going to be very difficult for you to deal with.
It indeed will be. K9 Esports tap it away towards the compound out in the open. And for K9 as well, they're not able to find any sort of successful shots or successful hits. Team Aryan, I like the fact that they've got a solid positioning. And I also like the fact that they had a solid split as well. But now that split, it's faded away. FS Esports getting pounced! And 8-Bit, they might just end up winning the fight! And 8-Bit is actually making sure that FS Esports will face the brunt. FS, they lost out on too many players in this duel. And now I highly doubt FS Esports will stand a chance to go for a big game. And this is what I'm talking about, the Group A. FS, another bad game that lines up. Global Esports finally against the players of Genesis Esports. And Global, they actually start ripping them apart. But Genesis, the backline's not too clear either. Hunters, he shifts back, he shuts down Spray God. Manya, he's still there in the front lines. But now he needs to deal with Hunters, but it's completely fine. Hunters has been dealt with from the players of 8-Bit. As Power as well gets knocked out. Genesis Esports, it's such a back and forth that's going on. This hilltop, it's cursed.
It's absolutely cursed right now. Somra's the only man remaining. Raiden has got 4 frags and you have to give the revival to him. He's the man who's feeling himself right now. And guess what? It's Likitha Esports now coming in for the 4th party. You can keep on counting the teams. This is exactly what I mentioned. The Southeastern Fray is going to be the main breaching point for all of these teams, and that's where they've decided to take the fight, as Genesis still hold the attention of Global Esports. Now that has given enough time for 8-Bit to get their revival back on the feed. Finally, Hunter's going to be claimed as well, along with Zap by that nade from Adi. Genesis eliminated, but 8-Bit are back on their feet, so they can move back in the safe zone.
Indeed. And Global Esports, since they've got all the 3 players standing, at least as of now, they lost out on the Spray God. And if you guys remember, Spray God has been the main playmaker for Global Esports for the longest. But look at the Esports, and the front shots are taken, and what a knock! Oh my god, that was disgusting! Smoker goes down, Starboy around that slope once again. XOXO behind the tree. Man's playing for safety. Look at the Esports, the spread, it's not good. And playing around the slope is always bad. It's never going to pan out well for you. And with the way the zone's forming out as well, a lot of these teams are going to be messed up in the end. But Global Esports, they still stand a chance if they do end up being the cleanup crew. I'm not even sure how 8-Bit was able to get that recovery, but 8-Bit was in shambles a while ago, if I remember.
That's the exact point, right? The entire attention of Global Esports was taken by Genesis. They focused too much on them that Somraj eventually, thanks to some of those smokes, was able to get the revival of his team back up on the feed. The only question was, why did Likitha not decide to go and pounce onto them? Probably because there was just too much chaos for them to even decide to move in. Team Aryan are now deciding to take care of teams on the Western Fray. Dealt a humongous damage to True Rippers. Finished off victorious Sumus, putting them out of the tragedy. Contrary to what I thought, the entire east and the northeastern part is just super free. But the major reason for that is because there's absolutely no hard covers there.
That's the exact point, right? And if you do end up placing yourself around that spot, you will be eliminated instantly because there's a lot of teams around the hilltop. Imagine there will be 8-bit taking shots against you. There will also be Global Esports taking constant shots against you. Then you've also got K9 Esports around that compound who will be taking the shots against you as well. So where do you exactly go? The answer is nowhere. And that's why playing around that turf is tough.
Yep.
But as of now, for Hero Extreme Godlike, the only problem they need to try and overcome is going to be the boys of K9 Esports. And the question is, how do you do so? Hero Extreme Godlike, the mechanical skills, they need to be primed and ready. Every single shot need to be connected. Utilities need to be as precise as ever before. And just look at the smokes they've tossed out. I'm loving this. Hero Extreme Godlike is smoking out every single angle that potentially K9 Esports can take shots from, which is a great thing. They've laid out a lot of smoke so they can easily cross on towards the opposite side and take a leap on the players of K9. And even K9 Esports is smoking out the grounds now. Maybe stopping the players of Hero Extreme Godlike from taking that pounce themselves. And Hero Extreme Godlike, they've already pushed up. Gods and Jonathan working in tandem. There's one more man from Hero Extreme Godlike, which is Punk, who is now going to form that off angle. Eliminations already starting to fly across the board. But for K9 Esports, this pressure, it's getting too much. Ninja Boy falls down, but another frag is being found. That is nicely played from Omega. That nade finds a knock onto Gods. There is still Beast on top of the roof. And this terrace, that it will be helping Beast to at least claim some sort of an intel.
Slug's position is going to be important because as soon as the smoke fades, Punk will not be able to cross into that squad house. They'll have to hold it all down while Beast holds any kind of push from anyone up on top. The smokes are going to help him as well for that because the stuns were used up previously to try and create some confusion. Godlike, they're back up on the feet now, but the Punk has made that cross. It's going to be big. They're already getting some confirmations. Beast and Ninja Boy, both of them fall down. It's only down to Omega and Slug. A big mess up coming in from K9 Esports. Godlike capitalizing on all of that.
Indeed. God's tossing out the utilities right underneath him, hoping that it's at least going to find some sort of connection. But that's not the case. For Hero Extreme Godlike, this fight can actually be a flawless conversion. But now it's time to pounce up close and personal. There's that one man from K9 Esports, but even he repositions perfectly. Goes back up top. Now he's going to wait for the players to funnel in from that staircase. But Gods, the man's ready. And if this nade's going to find the right connection, maybe the man's going to be knocked out. It will at least chip the damage away. And Gods, look at the man's confidence. He's oozing out with that confidence. And in the end, will turn around and slap the players. Disgusting stuff from Gods and Hero Extreme Godlike. What a push that was. This is what team communication and synergy can do.
Big play coming in because they needed to win this fight to finally hold the ground against 4TR, who have cleared the entire northwestern fray. As the southwest is where Team Aryan will stand up. A while ago, True Rippers were able to hold their ground on their own compound. When Reckoning decided to barge in from there, they deleted them. The fight over towards the southeast between Global Esports, 8-bit, it was eventually claimed up by Likitha Esports. Cleaned up the entire fray. It's all going to go down to this one hilltop, man. Wherever the circle shifts, that team gains the advantage. I absolutely love what Aryan is doing. Look at the amount of area that this team has claimed.
Godlike, oh no! Punk! Driving around, the man's getting softened up. And, oh boy. At least Punk got some sort of intel, right? So that's a good thing. But Team Aryan, this can actually be a good game for them. They've spread themselves out so well. Everything seems like it's lining up now. And Team Aryan, if you do see them alive in the final few moments, you know Cyrex will go for those strikes.
I love it.
Cyrex has always been the main playmaker, especially inside of the BGMS Season 4. Before Cyrex, it was TWOB who was able to find those crucial frags, but now Cyrex is stepping up big. For 4TR, they're going to have the entire storm of Hero Extreme Godlike approaching, and 4TR is not a team that will be an easy pill to swallow. But still, they're crumbling. Z-God gets caught. The remaining players of 4TR, even they're not going to stand a chance. What happened? Evaporated into thin air.
The vehicle run over because of the lack of covers out there right now. Godlike picked the fight perfectly on the back of intel that Punk grabbed by driving around that buggy. Phenomenal calls from them. And now it's going to be Likitha Esports who are in close proximity to Team Aryan. So they've got to focus down on them. Admino finds a knock onto them as well. This Team Aryan being pinched from two different directions.
Oh, this can actually be a nuclear performance from Hero Extreme Godlike. They're in form, and this game, it seems like they're on a tear, Punk! He runs over the second man, Team Aryan. The defensive wall is already cracked open. And here Extreme Godlike can breach in. That's 11 finish points already there, but not converted. 2 of them lie knocked. And now Jonathan, with these shots the man's taken, he's hoping that at least he's going to find a knock. This nade has to be on the point. Tossed towards that tree, but still the man from Aryan backs away perfectly. Hero Extreme Godlike, they've already got the cover. They've already got the position they wanted. It's all lining up now. Team Aryan down to a 2-man squad. Likitha Esports with a 3-man squad. Aryan cannot win this game. And this is why I keep on saying, play aggressive, Aryan. You guys have the firepower.
I think so. It was one of the best decisions for them to, if they would have decided to go on for the third party when Godlike were taking the fight against 4TR. They could have caught the members of Godlike as well. Now they are being sandwiched. They had to commit to one fight. They've just been caged around now. The clutches are around their necks. I don't see a way out of them.
Indeed.
And I absolutely love what Godlike are doing. Look at that. Spreading out all far wide. Making sure that there are no stranglers. They're making sure that their 6 are clear. So that they can fully focus on what's up in front of them. Though I still love the position of Likitha Esports.
Look at that. With these 5 eliminations they have gathered. For Hero Extreme Godlike, I'm not exactly sure what sort of a change can be done. And if you really think about it, on paper, it is Hero Extreme Godlike's game to lose. They've got all the 4 players standing, which is also the default man advantage they've got.
Yep.
And Hero Extreme Godlike, the only reason why the players are driving around inside of the vehicles, it's because they want to extend the territorial control a bit more. They want to move up inch by inch, which makes a lot of sense. But Team Aryan, these remaining 2 players are of course going to be unhappy with the fact that Hero Extreme Godlike pushed up and eliminated Cyrax.
I just love the fact that Godlike were not overcommitting in that fight. Because if that would have been for a few more seconds extended, Likitha Esports would have decided to barge in for the third party.
No, I don't think so. Likitha Esports, for some reason, we are not really seeing a lot of third parties from them. If you've noticed Likitha Esports' gameplay, they just don't third party. But Team Aryan, they're definitely ready and primed. Aryan is able to find the first. Instant confirmation follows up. Hermanos down and dusted.
No bullets.
And as you mentioned, the man unfortunately does not have a lot of bullets either.
1 bullet in his M4.
He's got the flashbang to work with, though, for up close and personal combat. That S12K is definitely going to help him. But now if he moves up and gets the death crate looted up of Hermanos, then maybe things can be smoother. But that's the thing, right? He does not even have a smoke grenade to actually toss out there. Go ahead and loot that death crate.
Blue is moving. It's going to move soon, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for him too. They're getting claustrophobic now. The breathing space, absolutely less. But this could have been a big fumble from Godlike. The numbers advantage that they had till now taken away, and Hermanos is the man who's been taken down. So, a massive firepower being cut short. This gives Likitha Esports a fighting chance, at least here. I know they've been very passive, but whenever they've been in the top 3, we have seen them convert some big games.
We indeed have. And for Hero Extreme Godlike, as of now, they had the man advantage, but since that one man of Aryan was able to find that knockout and the confirmation, now Hero Extreme Godlike is going to play with a lot of that pressure. Everyone's just waiting for the zone to collapse and close up, so that slowly and steadily the teams will be forced outside of that cover. And for Hero Extreme Godlike, I'm telling you, they're just waiting for the fight to happen. And Hero Extreme Godlike is ready and primed for a third party. That's all they want to do. They just want to move up in third party.
And Aryan will be forced to make a move.
Or maybe Likitha will be.
Considering the position of EXO, yeah. They'll be closer to the blue.
And I'm pretty sure it will be Likitha Esports versus Team Aryan soon.
And Godlike will hop in for the third party.
Yep, that's what Godlike is playing for. Godlike has already calculated things. They know what they need to do to get this chicken dinner rolling, which is a big brain move.
Perfect calling coming in. Yeah. And they kind of needed that because they've been kept quiet for such a long time now. A few continuous days of not being able to convert those big games, propelling them all the way down onto that 6-7 spot in the leaderboard. At a point, they were almost getting to the first position. Now, stage 9, up on the move.
Yep.
You gotta crawl your way up now, fight your way. It's an uphill battle, metaphorically and literally, for Aryan and Likitha, both of them.
Here, Extreme Godlike is playing this pretty smartly. Likitha Esports, yes, they do have a lot of chicken dinners, but still, they're on the last page in the overall standings. And somehow Team AX, they start things off with a bang. They've already found the first knock, but the conversion still lacks. Likitha Esports down to just a 2-man squad, and as I told you, the moment this fight happens, here Extreme Godlike will go for an instant third party, and that's what they do. Here Extreme Godlike now with the man advantage, but even Punk drops down. Hold on, Aryan gets balled today. This man, he sometimes can be a mechanical god up close and personal, and that's what he's doing. Oh my god! Aryan, he spoils the day for Hero Extreme Godlike, but now the fight's taken down to a 1v1. This nade, it's gonna seal the deal. Godlike, they threw it. They threw this game. And it's gonna be in a chicken dinner for Hero Extreme Godlike, but Likitha Esports, they snatch it away, because Godlike made a rookie mistake. Oh my god, giving those one-on-one duels like that. And yeah, you should be disappointed. Hero Extreme Godlike had all the right to win that duel. They had all the right to win that game. And of course, the players talking to each other, they know exactly where they messed up. This was their game to lose, and they lost it.
All thanks to Aryan with that last stand, getting punked and gods, both of them.
I told you, man, this guy can sometimes be a mechanical god.
1v1 being offered to him, and he was standing at the edge of the blue.
Yep.
Impeccable.
Expected.
And the perfect timing by Likitha Esports to eventually grab that opportunity. Fantastic performance coming in from them.
Aryan is a great player. If you're going to offer him those one-on-one duels, well, he will strike you down over and over again. And then in the end, too, you guys clearly saw what exactly happened as Likitha Esports just came in, scooped up those elimination points. We all thought that Likitha Esports will stand no chance. We all knew that it is Hero Extreme Godlike's game, but why did Gods push out like that? There was no need for Gods to be so impatient. And then Jonathan had to move up because Jonathan wanted to save the day, but that was not possible. Before now, let's move on to a short break. And this break, and after this, we will move on towards the post-stats.
All I know is this.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
We're back again after that exciting match of Erangel where we almost thought this could be taken away by Godlike, but at the very end, Aryan stood strong to steal it all away and give it in the silver platter to Likitha Esports.
Yeah, and especially for Likitha Esports, I'm sure the players were extremely happy, right? But generally speaking for Likitha Esports, the concern is not about snatching the chicken dinners away. Of course, we know that is the only team on the last page with the most amount of chicken dinner. The concern is about actually getting those chicken dinners and propelling yourself in a decent spot in the overall standings. True. The amount of chicken dinner Likitha Esports has, they should have already been on the second page, but that's not the case. It's because they're such an on and off. You will not see them perform the same way in every single game, or at least get even closer to that performance.
That's the average points that we always talk about, right?
Yeah.
Not really getting what you'd really need from every other game. And that has also been the same concern with Marco's Gaming, which we always talk about. Having the most number of chicken dinners, still not being able to move up in top 8 itself, though. But a very nice performance from Godlike after such a long time. They were struggling for, quite a few days straight up. I think so. This still should boost up their confidence.
Of course it should, right? And you brought up Marcos Gaming. Now, that's a whole different story. I still believe the fact that Marcos Gaming, if they have 1 or 2 massive games, since there are so many more games to go in the future, Marcos Gaming can easily propel themselves in the top 12. Yeah. And around that second page, we know the overall standings are quite versatile. They're quite sensitive. One single good game, and you can instantly propel yourself around that 12th spot. And Victor Sumus, they have been bouncing around that 12th and the 15th spot consistently, and that's a prime example of that. But the previous game's MVP is going to be Raiden from 8-Bit. Hold on, the final game was definitely quite good for 8-Bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it, it's only Raiden who got anything. 7 finishes for 8-Bit, all of them came from Raiden, and to be honest, they were put in a very peculiar spot because behind them was Likitha Esports, in front of them there was Global Esports. So
on the left, Team Aryan.
Absolutely, on their left, Team Aryan. They had nowhere else to go. And if you look at your front, yeah, that's an open ground. You would not really want to do that or go there. So it's still a pretty solid performance from them, as we had a look at the rest of the stars of the match as well. Pretty straightforward, no real surprises out of there again. But since the previous game was absolutely an on and off, back and forth, we're going to have a look at that one more time in the highlights of OnePlus Never Settle Moments. And this was the big fight which you mentioned.
Yeah, Hero Extreme Godlike somehow able to convert all the elimination points against K9 Esports without even grabbing any sort of hurt upon themselves, which is an extremely good thing. Hero Extreme Godlike was on a massive rip. Off the get-go, Hero Extreme Godlike was really in a red-hot form. They were winning those fights left, right, and center, no matter which team you put up against them. Yeah, that team was getting absolutely melted, including Team Aryan as well. Hero Extreme Godlike, in my opinion, they should have pushed up a little bit more, but I know you've got a contrasting opinion that Hero Extreme Godlike should not have committed, and that's why you were kind of happy that they did not really overcommit to that fight. But I still believe if Hero Extreme Godlike would have overcommitted and punished Aryan himself, then later on he wouldn't have been able to bite him in the back like that.
Could have been possible as well, or even after all of that, right? Instead of going 1v1 against Aryan, they could have just decided to take a step back and wait for Aryan to be taken down by the blue itself, because he was eventually being pushed up. But it's absolutely fine. Even after all of those shenanigans, you eventually lose 4 points, but a total of 19 points being caught by Godlike. On the other end, Likitha Esports on the second with 18, but a big game for Aryan. 12 finished points claimed by them, and also 5 position points, so that's 17.
That's insane stuff from AX, right? 17 points in total from them. We all thought that maybe the elimination points were not enough, but Team AX did enough to at least get that decent bit of point flow. And we know Team AX as well is one of those teams that is quite closer to breaching its out of that top 12. And maybe after this game, they've already done it. But as I mentioned, the second page is extremely volatile. It's extremely sensitive. One good performance from any other team around that spot will instantly propel themselves in the top 12, and maybe Aryan will be kicked outside of that.
Highly possible as we have a look at the final leaderboard for today right now. Revenant X-Park, iQOO Soul, Orangutan, all same in top 3. But it's Genesis who barge in against the members of God's Reign as they get pushed down to their own 5th position. Hero Extreme Godlike up on 6, 449 points as well. Top 8, no other changes apart from just one position, and this is the second page which we talk about.
Wow, Team Argon's still pretty far back, right? On the 16th spot, top 12 is pretty far away from them. Luckily enough for IG Los Hermanos, yeah, the previous game was bad, or the entire day of today was pretty bad for IG Los Hermanos, but still been able to pin that spot down, and the 12th spot is a good thing. Yeah. And I'm just worried for teams like IG Los Hermanos, for teams like True Rippers. What if K9 Esports actually wakes up in their red-hot form?
And the fun fact is that today was the last day without your impact player. Tomorrow is going to be Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. Last 3 days of League Week 3. So you've got one last big opportunity to get those 40 points game, maybe 50 point games, which Genesis has shown as well. So that's going to be something that everyone's going to look forward.
I feel like a lot of these teams are happy with the impact player rule more than the power player rule, right? Because they love the fact that that one man is able to contribute a lot more than he's supposed to. And you do see the teams, right? If they do spot a player, he's like, you know what, impact player, go ahead and claim that elimination point so it can be doubled up. So you clearly do see that priority as well. And that also sort of enhances a team's communication. That's what I personally believe. We've also got the TBS Raider most wicked player on the screen. And it's going to be Admito once again. The man pops back on top.
It's always been there now. It's basically a hat-trick for him, considering for the past 3 days it has not changed. Legit, just 2 finishes behind. Hunters falling up with 3 behind. And then it's Stray Scott. All of these people having more than 80 finishes. And then comes AKOP now. Orangutan, it's fine. Their performance is a bit shaky here and there, but it's absolutely alright. Then it's God's Reign again. Justin and Neo going on for their own perfect play as well. Vizgod out there with 70. Aimbot and Jonathan to finish off that list as well. Pretty cool coming in.
But hey, you want to know something crazy?
Yes.
The Deadpool and Wolverine brings you the most wicked ride yet, featuring first in segment GTT boost mode, a best-in-class torque, and a cluster loaded with 85 plus features to keep you connected onto the go, which is absolutely insane. And as I mentioned, right, this bike has got a lot of variants out there. I would recommend you guys to check it out as well. And just a couple of days ago, a few more were launched.
I 100% agree, right? This is again the Deadpool and Wolverine variant out here. I was having a conversation with Shadow as well, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the Deadpool variant. You keep your Wolverine one, and absolutely fine. But here's another thing that's, you know, it's going to concern our audience as well. They're going to be happy about that, and that's going to be the Swiggy 99 finishes, ladies and gentlemen, because you'll receive that QR code on your screen in a few seconds. And guess what? You can order free burgers, get a coupon of 99 rupees, free delivery out there. It's going to be super fun, but as we're constantly talking about that, yeah, you would want to scan it. Calm down, my boy. Let it pop up first.
Look, it's 99 rupees off on whatever you're ordering, man. And honestly, you guys should do it right now. Just scan it. Get your hands on that coupon. It's only for a limited time, so why would you not want to do it? And of course, we know it keeps on refreshing every single day, so get your hands onto it. But yeah, speaking about the 99 finishes, total number of matches played are 72 so far in the league stage. You've also got total number of finishes, which is going to be 4,294. And 99 finishes is 43 times, which is absolutely insane. And speaking of the max finishes, copy pasta the wicked players over here. We've got the top 5 on the max finishes. Even Admino at the top once again with 88. Legit got extremely close in that game of Miramar.
Almost had it. Almost had it. The amount of finishes that this man was pulling up for himself as well, right? This has been one of the key storylines for Seoul that we've been talking about, where Legit is the man who's always standing up, who's always been strong. There's a few teams that are standing with one man strong, but they are doing pretty well.
It's not just about Seoul, right? There's also a few more teams who are constantly there around the top 4 and trying to at least be there, trying to at least make a comeback. And Genesis Esports was one of them, but they finally have breached in the top 4.
Absolutely. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things to talk about, including the impact player. That's going to happen from tomorrow. It's going to be Friday. For tonight, it's going to be it. Bye-bye. Good night.